The Angry Chicken is a production of Amove TV. Bookmark amove.tv for more gaming and esports shows. The Angry Chicken is directly supported by listeners like you via patreon.com/TAC.
Everyone, get in here! Ready for action! I've got the beast in my sight.
A podcast about Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft. This is The Angry Chicken.
Welcome back, everyone. This is The Angry Chicken. Specifically, this is episode 274 of The Angry Chicken. Specifically, this is the first episode of the show in almost a month where all three of us are here. Specifically, it is T-minus 1 week until Boomsday comes out. Hi, everybody. I'm Gar Weinzerl. Willie Dills Gregory is here. Jocelyn and Moffat is here. It feels good.
We're all back.
I missed you guys.
Yeah, and that means that we're going to talk for like 3 hours about cards because we all have to give our opinions on each card, and they're all crazy.
They're all
Exactly.
insane. It's backloaded with neutrals, and only a few of them are blowing my mind. But a lot of them will just be like, "Yep, that's a neutral. Moving on. Cool, very cool. How are you?" Man, I missed you guys. I don't know if you could tell by the fact that I was like messaging you in Slack and trying to help. I missed the show. Make me work.
So you went to the Keys, right?
I did. I was in.
Very relaxing.
It was so relaxing, man. I left my phone in the room every day except when I wanted to go play Pokemon Go, which, by the way, I went up 15 levels in that game.
What level? Whoa! What level were you?
I was only level 11.
Okay. Because I've been playing it again, but I was level 25 or something. I'm at 28 now. It is a slope.
Well, I'm at 25 now, so
Yeah?
we can be buddies.
Right.
We can be buddies. Key West turns out.
Yeah, I am back in as well.
Yeah.
It's crazy at one update like that, and you're just like, okay, cool. Let's do this.
It's fun. It's fun to play with people. And I was there with Katie, and she was like, "Let's play Pokemon Go." And I'm like, "Cool." And we dominated the town, took over all those gyms. But we're not here to talk about Pokemon Go and how it's a great game to play when you're on a vacation where you can just walk everywhere. We're here to talk about Hearthstone. There's a lot of cards to talk about today. That is the only thing that we're going to cover on today's episode. We're not talking news. We're not talking emails, crazy game stories, none of that. Keep them coming, though. tacpodcast@gmail.com is the email address to send that all into. We're just talking about cards. But before we do that, we have a couple of announcements to get out of the way. We would like to remind everybody that Taco Boomsday, the Angriest Chicken Open, our tournament that we do once every expansion, typically at the very end of the expansion. But Taco Boomsday, my God.
Whoa.
Taco Witchwood. Taco Witchwood is...
Taco Boomsday would have to happen after.
Yes.
Yeah, Garrett
Yes.
just jumped us ahead 3 months.
Yeah, sorry. Taco Witchwood is this weekend. It's August 4th, and signups are now public. They are open to everyone. Plenty of slots left. Head on over to bit.ly/witchwoodtaco.
For anybody who's never participated before, just a quick reminder that just for participating, you have a chance to win some packs. And they'll be delivered directly to you via the gift system now in the launcher. So it's all super sweet and easy. So even if you think, I got no chance to win, you should still sign up and come out and play and just have some fun. This will be kind of a send-off to all of our fun Witchwood deck archetypes, which are soon going to be replaced by our mech overlords. and everything's going to turn upside down because these cards are all insane.
Completely bonkers, much like GVG that came before it. This it's the way it should be. So yeah, 15 packs for first through fourth place, and 2 more sets of 15 packs going out to 2 randomly selected participants. So head on over to bit.ly/ what did I do before it? Witchwood Taco.
Witchwood Taco.
Witchwood
You actually
Taco.
got that one right. That was good.
Yep. Cool.
By the way, I every single time we do a taco, every single time, somebody goes, "Why not an EU?" Here's my response. If you want an EU taco and you want to organize it, I will fully back you on that, and I will give you support to do it. But we do not live in the EU, so it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to do one only for the EU. But if someone wants to support one and do one with the taco name, I would definitely jump on board and help you broadcast the Final Four and all that kind of stuff. Just someone else is going to have to do the running of it.
Good for you. I will not.
Sure, but I'm just saying, I get it. I know there's a lot of players and listeners and stuff who play on the EU. It's just you got to understand why we don't do it.
We get the.
It's literally like a 6-hour time difference, you guys. It's from me, and Dills is further than that. So like, yeah.
But I would be willing to help with just the final broadcast of the top 4, and you could totally slap the taco name on it if you want to. You just got to like go through us and whatever. But I just don't stop asking us to do it. I'm not going to do it.
We will promote it. We will set up a bet.ly and tell folks about it on the show. And that is it. I can't be up at 3 a.m. organizing tournaments.
Exactly.
But whatever the case is, yeah. So there's that. And also next week you might be thinking to yourself, guys, it's Tuesday. There's still cards being revealed. How are you going to talk about them all in time? And the answer is we're going to record a day early next week because our Hearthstone expansion is coming out on Tuesday, which we are not used to. So we're going to record the next episode of The Angry Chicken on Monday next week, and we're going to be covering the rest of the Boomsday cards. So that'll just free us up on Tuesday to hopefully go live with a Boomsday stream whenever they pull the lever. I was going to say flip the switch, but I feel like Boomsday has a lot of giant Dr. Frankenstein-esque levers. So whenever they pull that lever, that's when we'll be hopefully streaming some card pack openings if we all don't just go to pre-release events and open them early. And yeah, I might do that.
I am not going to a pre-release event, so.
Is there one near you?
No.
Oh, well, there you go. Our Florida Fireside is having one in Orlando. It has been announced. That's kind of the Johnson I was pulling last time I was on an episode. So there is one in Orlando. Go to meetup.com/Florida Fireside for more information about that. I'm going to try my damnedest to make it up. The 2-hour drive over to Orlando this weekend. We'll see if I can make it.
I've got about a 35-minute drive over to the Vigilante Bar.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice and close.
4. And it's a super sweet bar with like tons of like you get a little iPad. If nobody's ever been to the Vigilante Bar here in Austin, it's a pretty new place. You get a little iPad and you can pick from a ton of board games, right? And then the waiter or waitress will bring it to you. And like from a big giant collection. So you can be like, oh, I want to play Boggle. And they like friggin' have that. And then if you are like playing, let's say you're playing Magic or something like that, and you're playing Commander and you want one more player, you got 3 players, you're like, man, I really like 4-way Commander games. You can like push a little button and a light comes up on your table that says like, we need players.
Neat.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
We have a bar that's like kind of like that in Toronto, except it's not nearly that techy. It's literally, almost like a library. Like all the walls are just bookshelves full of games, and you just get up and go and get one. And then they have like all of their waiters are like trained in all the rules of all the games, so they'll be like your referee and judge and stuff about like who's actually like if there's a rule discrepancy or something. So they can teach you all the games and stuff. It's really cool, but yeah, not nearly that high tech.
Yeah, it's really new, and so I think it's just all their ideas. They just threw all of them in there. Also, they have really good finger food. None of it needs to be eaten with like a fork or something, and none of it gets stuff all over your hands. There's like no chicken wings with sauce. There's no whatever. Everything is like a little mini wrap that you like dip, so that you don't get a bunch of crusty, greasy hands while you're playing games. It's like they thought
smart.
I'm so far very much sold, Dills. But tell me they don't serve pickle shots.
Oh, they will if you ask for one.
Damn it!
But they do not force them on you.
Oh, that's just Dills. That's just Dills.
Yeah,
if you tell him you don't like pickles. Okay, cool. Good to know. Well, rad. Well, let's do it then. Let's move into the card talk for this week because we have more than 40 cards to talk about, which means I get to play that Boomsday bumper I almost forgot I made.
Science! You can go into success with no regrets when you work with Dr.
I did not do a fancy layout. If you're watching on video, I'm just screen capping from Hearthstone. So thank you, Hearthstone.com, for not giving me permission to do this.
Well,
you tagged them on Twitter. That's basically the same.
They retweeted it, so I take that as consent. So there's just so many cards to talk about. I'm going to do my best. I spent a lot of time making sure I had kept track of all the cards we've talked about already, but there's a chance I might double up. I apologize in advance if that happens. We're going to try our best to talk about only cards we haven't talked about so far, which means if we're going in alphabetical order of classes, we're starting with Druid, and we're starting with Dream Petal Florist, a new epic Druid minion that's going to cost you 7 mana to play. The Florist has 4 attack, 4 health, and reads at the end of your turn, reduce the cost of a random minion in your hand by 7, because druids need more ways to cheat shit out.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is bananas.
I mean, obviously, a 7-mana 4/4, that sucks, but your
Spiteful Summoner still saw play.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I was just playing Spiteful Priest last night and doing fine.
Yeah.
It is it's you can specifically get down to a certain minion, right? I mean, you can play out all the other stuff if you need to, and then get this going. You can also in Druid play a lot of cards that aren't minions that do a lot of minion summoning, and are defensive spells and things like that. So yeah, you could just run like a couple specific minions. Obviously, your brain immediately goes to Malygos with this.
Obviously.
I think of like Togwaggle or Azalina Soul Thief, and if you get either one of those down, suddenly that's a combo that could be played in the same turn, right? So yeah, it's like there's just tons of stuff, and there's got to be more people messing with cards like this, I think, than like this is the meta defining kind of stuff to me. It's just like you said, cheating shit out. Dream Petal Florist is the king of this right now.
I'm already so done with Malygos Druid killing me.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it in like its current iteration because it still feels like they've got to get there. They got to take some time.
But
this twig and all that stuff.
Yeah, but like it feels like there's no way to disrupt this. At least if you like if they're playing twig and like you can play weapon destruction and like give them their mana crystals when they can't actually use them and all that kind of stuff. Like you can disrupt their gameplay a little bit. This just feels like they play it and then they get 2 Malygoses plus, like they could Floop in there too. And it's just like, oh man.
Yeah. Oh, I love that Floop in there is an unironic use of a word.
Yeah, they can. I know. I didn't make that saying up, you guys.
Nope. You
Floop is a thing.
Flabidinous Floop. Yeah, just ridiculous. So
it feels like you can't disrupt it, and that's a little bit of kind of like why this card feels bad to me.
You can kill it, but it's already done.
But it's already done its thing, and it'll keep doing its thing if you can't kill it for some reason, right?
Yeah. Also, are we gonna combo this with Drakari Enchanter? Is that a thing we're gonna be doing?
Is that the double the end of your turn effects thing?
Yeah, it only costs 3 mana. It was a neutral minion from Lich King.
So yeah, that's another potential combo that you could do for sure. Yeah, that's already something that people have been messing around with in Druid when you're looking at the dragon dude, orc with the dragon.
Orc with the
dragon collar?
Dragon collar, yeah.
Yeah. That's already something people have been messing with, right? So, I mean, if you're playing... this just feels like it could be slotted into a whole bunch of different Druid decks because this effect is just so strong. Like, and especially when you think about it, like, 4/4 for 7 is bad, but it's going to have a lot of the same things as the Spiteful Summoner did in Druid because, like, 4/4 for 7 is bad on turn 7, but Druids get turn 7 on turn 3. So then a 4/4's not so bad anymore.
That's also a good point. Yeah. And I like... I was reading up, like over on competitive Hearthstone and other places, and like there was a lot of conversation around this card being like, oh yeah, you just play aggro, but that like conversation like immediately devolves into, but spreading plague is still a thing.
Yeah, we're not getting rid of plague yet, so. yeah.
So I don't know. It's
Dragon Hatcher. Thank you, chat room. Dragon Hatcher is what I'm thinking of.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'm really afraid of Druid going into this next expansion. I'm afraid of Druid right now.
Druid is not the class that needed help. Druid has a few different viable archetypes right now, so Druid is starting to feel a lot like Warlock to me.
Well, they're kind of bringing out some things that are trying some different stuff. So, I saw the Treant thing was starting to happen, and then it's kind of like, no one's going to do that when you got this.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's kind of weird. Like they gave him. It feels like Freeze Shaman, where they're like, "Here's this other thing we know none of you are gonna do."
A little bit, yeah. Right.
Anyway.
I mean, there's still, there are still a couple cards to be revealed. Literally a couple. I just scrolled down. There's only 2. There's still a legendary spell and a rare. Who knows to be revealed. So maybe that'll double down on the Treant thing and blow our minds and kind of usher us that way. But. We'll have to see. I mean, this is, if nothing else, this is a slow card, right? Like this, and we're going to talk about Juicy Psychmelon next, which is another card everyone's losing their mind about. But these are slow cards, although, as you mentioned, Jocelyn, they're ramping.
You got to remember,
kind of hard to call something slow.
They're getting Biology Project too, so they're ramping 2 mana crystals on turn 1 instead of 1 on 2.
Yep.
And then they're continuing to ramp after that, and then of course with cards like this, and with the Juicy Psychmelon, their use of mana is a lot more effective than other people's.
Yeah, yeah. Let's just go ahead and talk about what Juicy Psychmelon is for our audio listeners. It's a 4-mana epic druid spell, and it reads: draw a 7, 8, 9, and 10 cost minion from your deck. I've seen rational discussions had around this, and I find it hard to join those rational discussions.
So, this is being held back by the fact that it's minions, right? If it's a 10 cost cards, I would be like, oh, geez. Because you're talking about pulling UI and stuff like that, you know?
But the thing is, though, if the fact that it's just minions, it means that it's basically not accelerating your fatigue timer based on, like, when you're using this card. Like, you can use this card at kind of any point during the game, and you're always going to get 7, 8, 9, 10 or less. So it's like if it was 4 cards, like there might be a time in the game like UI where you just can't play it anymore because it puts you way too far into fatigue. But this, it's like if there's only a 10 cost minion left in your deck, it's just going to pull 1 card, and it's always going to pull that 10 minion. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
so
no,
it's
but it's also held back by you have to have a 10 cost minion you want to play, right? And like right now, like druids don't really play 10 cost minions; they play these 10 cost spells that are dope.
Yeah,
and if you pull them on, which essentially you'd be pulling on. I mean, I get what you're saying.
You could pull like your last few combo pieces or whatever, and it's like it's much more controllable. Yeah. And the fatigue
it's oftentimes not going to probably include that 10 cost minion unless there's some awesome.
There's a really good chance that it won't. Yeah. Even if this only draws you like your Dream Petal Florist and your Malagos, like you're guaranteed those combo pieces. Seems good.
but if you can draw, specifically Malagos when you need Malagos, like hey, that's pretty good, right? Like it's like that's a card I need to have so that I can then Dream Petal Florist it. Well, here you go. Let's find that card, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know. It just seems like here's the exact piece you needed.
Yeah,
so that you could do the thing with the Dream Petal Florist that we just showed you. It's kind of crazy. And then of course, you can do this if you Biology Project on 1, you go up to 2, 3. You're doing it on turn 2. On turn 2, you can just draw the combo pieces that you need.
Yeah.
And then you're like, cool, got those out of the way. Now let's continue to play this game.
All right, now let's start playing the game. Yeah, it's just odd, and because like I was talking about, I've seen a lot of like the same conversation going around. There's a lot of people saying like, well, yeah, like what you said, Dills, like druids aren't really playing like 9 and 10 cost minions right now. They're playing 9 and 10 cost spells, but they're playing 9 costs in terms of Malagos, but it's almost a good thing, like you're talking about. Like you don't even really need to think about it too much to come to the realization that this is just 4 mana, find your combo piece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and people are talking about Wild in chat, which I mean, it's gonna be nuts because you'll draw Kuhn,
and Aviana,
so and they're like, 10 cost minions are fine because they'll cost 1, and you'll be like, yay.
Is there something weird can we do something weird with Splintergraft here too? Like, because then you get a copy of something that costs 10, but then you've got another Dream Petal Florist and now don't cost 10 no more. Like,
sure, but I mean it's in Wild, I think I'm not so concerned because other decks are also going to be doing insane, crazy stuff. So I think it's okay.
Right? I'm not. That's what I want Wild to be. Is just really ridiculous, like curated decks that do really insane things. I'm just probably my biggest concern with this is I'm looking at this card being like, how does this not kind of restrict their card design for future in druids, especially high cost minion design for druids?
Because they're just going to make druids powerful?
Yeah. I mean, the fact is, I think it's okay because, like a 7, 8, 9, and 10 cost minions, like you're not going to be able to play them all out on the same turn. Even if you get the Dream Petal Florist out, it's only going to make one of them cheaper. Like I think they're looking at it and thinking, well, it's still essentially pretty slow, right? So, If mechs are just beating you down, then this might not ever even get off the ground floor, right? So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
It feels really good. It feels really strong. We just don't know what the meta is going to look like yet, so it's hard to really evaluate and say this is broken and busted.
Yeah, Wild Mongrel in the chat room figured out. Team 5, they just all play Druid.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Checks out.
Yep, checks out.
Yeah, it's like the WoW team all played Paladin for a while, and they were like, "Hey, you know what? I want to rep Pally in PvP and just blow people up."
No, it feels like
And
today they all play Alliance.
Oh, I wasn't gonna bring it up. I'm trying so hard.
We probably shouldn't crack this seal here.
No. Breathe.
In and out. That's the only punch I'm going to get in on that for today. All right, one more Druid card. Gloop Sprayer is next. You've got your Floop. Now you've got your Gloop. This is an 8-mana, 4/4 common Druid minion with a battle cry that reads, summon a copy of each adjacent minion.
Well, imagine if this cost 1. Could happen sometimes.
Yeah.
It's this is just Druids are wild, man. Like it's everything seems so nuts when you think about things like Dream Petal Florist and things like Juicy Psychmelon. Because I just want to talk in circles. It's like they're already ramping. Do they need the Florist to then reduce the cost of minions in their hand? But then also the Florist existing makes some like an absurd minion like this. Like you would never pay 8 mana for a 4/4. But that kind of makes this card make me go, maybe there's something here.
But if I could play a cheap mulch muncher, and then I could, faceless manipulator it, right? And then I got 2 of those, and then I put this in the middle, and it's been cheapened by Dream Petal Florist, and then I get, 2 extra. Like I play a 4/4 and 2 8/8s for 8, or at least 1 or whatever. I don't know. There's just all sorts of I just think of many things that can be done here. It's definitely a combo enabler. So people are going to try to make this work.
Yeah. Boy, I'm really just starting with this, and we're going to talk about more crazy stuff later because there are crazy cards for other classes as well. This expansion seems crazy.
Yeah.
In terms of power level, and maybe that's okay because it does seem relatively spread out. It's just because of my experience against Druid's Ladder right now, looking at these, that's where my biggest fear lies. Is with Druid.
Is what Druid's gonna be able to do.
Boomsday. Yeah.
I mean, they're definitely getting very. It's just it's like what happened with Warlock, where it's like here's a bunch of really good cards, and here's more cards that support them even more. And that's what it kind of feels like is happening, right? Like, okay, they already do this thing that's really good. Here's a bunch of cards that fit exactly into that, and that's what's happening. So yeah, it's definitely a little scary, but I'm also gonna go in there and just try to beat them up too. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Just but spreading again. I'm talking in circles. I'll stop. Let's just move on to the next class, which is Hunter, which means there's a legendary we have not yet covered. Boommaster Flark. Flark is now a word we're going to be saying unironically.
I know that it sounds like Team 5 contracted me to make up names for cards, but I swear I had nothing to do with this, you guys. I swear.
And if we're going to talk about Flark, we need to talk about another card because Flark summons 4 actually playable cards that you can put into your deck. Anyway, Flark is a 7-mana 5/5 legendary hunter minion with a battle cry that reads summon 4 0/2 goblin bombs. And this also means we'll be talking about a neutral card, Goblin Bombs, because that's exactly what it summons. Goblin Bombs are 1-mana 0/2 common neutral mech minions with a death rattle that reads deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. And that's exactly what Flark will be summoning when he hits the board. So, it's like Hunter face Dr. Boom.
Kind of, but you gotta trigger them, right? And they have no attack, and
yeah.
So,
I feel like this creates some space issues too. If you're thinking about the current iteration of the Death Rattle Egg Hunter, because they rarely have 5 empty board spaces when they're cubing stuff and triggering play dead Death Rattle things. I don't know. This seems board clogging.
The Devilsaur eggs pull out 5/5s. These just deal
exactly. These deal 2 damage, and take up space until they do that. So,
but there's magnetic and all that stuff, so they're all little mechs.
And Hunter is the mech
things to them.
Yeah, Hunter is one of the mech classes, right? So they are going to get a lot more support because we're still missing 6 Hunter cards, and maybe they're key to making these Goblin bombs work. Maybe there's literally a spell that says, do blah to all your Goblin bombs or something.
And then Wild, there's whatchamacallit, do all your death rattles, like do them all at the same time. Right?
Feign Death?
Feign Death, thank you. There is, Void Ripper.
Void Ripper, yeah.
More in chat. Like, there's ways to do it. And so, and then, like, just having bodies on the board that then you can manipulate their death rattles and stuff that the opponent doesn't want to kill. I think there is definitely some use there. It's slow. 7 mana, you're paying for a 5/5 that turn and then some future power to be able to utilize these minions. But if the meta is slow enough for this, like, this does seem like a powerful way to potentially end games. So
I feel like we always say that going into expansions. Like, if the meta's slow, we could see XYZ combo.
Well,
this card could get, and the meta's never slow.
No, Witchwood was slow as hell. What are you talking about? I'm playing tons of, like, I was trying to play aggro. Well,
it is now, but I'm saying, like, I mean, like, between Pally and, like, Zulok and before all the nerfs and stuff, like, oh my god, it was super aggressive, on launch.
when they made the nerfs, and then the very next day it was Quest Priest, like, we did experience the super slow meta.
Yeah, I feel like it's almost like you have to talk about it as like Witchwood 1.0 and like Witchwood 2.0 because they were so vastly different.
Well, that's where I get salty. I'm like, there was no Witchwood 1.0. Witchwood came out and had no effect on the game. It felt like. It's just Warlock got, and that's
what
I
was talking.
Clear.
I was talking launch day, guys. I understand, like, and when I say guys, I'm talking chat room. I'm not talking about you two guys. The guys in the chat room. I understand that the meta is really slow right now. I get that, but on launch day.
Yeah, and you're not wrong. Like, we have one example of it finally slowing down, and it's recently. Yeah. Over the history of Hearthstone, it really hasn't. But to dig back into it, and I will use my druid, my now druid. Can we come up with like a druid phobia name? I need an official term for this, but I'm going to use my fear of druids to fuel this argument of
floopophobia.
Floopophobia. If my floopophobia comes to pass, and druids are just dropping giant bombs relatively early in the game, and aggro isn't working because spreading plague is still a thing, I can see the meta slowing down because we're just going to start trying to outlast druids.
Yeah, like right now the fastest deck going is basically just Odd Rogue, right? And it's killing right now, but it doesn't look like that's where we're headed here. So things may be slow enough that, and we've also got some other cards here that support this, put a bunch of stuff on the board and then add death rattles to them. And then obviously the whole magnetic thing is it's a pretty big deal. So I'm a wait and see on the Boom Master Flark. I think it's got potential.
Yeah, I think so
I'm
too.
with you that it's not instantly like, holy crap, this is a powerful card. It's a card with maybe a spot depending on what other support it has and what the meta looks like.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's kind of meta dependent. And also possibly matchup dependent, but it's a good kind of slow. If you're summoning 4 things, so like, you got to wait for it, but there's 4 Goblin Bombs going onto the board. It's a good chance you're going to get value out of some of them. And the next card we're going to talk about, Fireworks Tech, may help you with that. Fireworks Tech is a 2-mana, 2/1 rare hunter minion with a battle cry that reads, give a friendly mech +1/+1. If it has a death rattle, trigger it. So if you've got Goblin Bombs on the board, not only can they attack, but you're triggering their death rattle just by buffing them with Fireworks Tech. Yeah,
this seems pretty strong. If mech is definitely a thing for Hunter. You're essentially getting a 2-mana 3/2 and triggering a death rattle, and 1/1 of that 3/2 has charge, right? I don't know. For 2 mana, that seems like a pretty decent deal. So yeah, I like it. It's a cool card.
Yeah, I like this card too. I also love the art. Blue hair for the win.
Dude, the art in the entire expansion is insane.
It's been great.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's been real solid. And then the final hunter card we're going to talk about today is Cybertech Chip. This is a 2-mana rare hunter spell, which reads, give your minions death rattle, add a random mech to your hand.
Value generation for 2 mana. And another combo piece with Boommaster Flark. So we'll see. It just depends on if this is better than what Hunter's currently doing with recruiting and death rattling and stuff like that. That's where it's really gonna, like, we either see this or we never see it, right? It either surpasses that and becomes a new thing, or they're kind of equal and we see both, or like just recruiting and devil sore eggs and cubing and all that stuff is just better. It definitely seems like it has potential though.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I echo all of that. My only negative critique of this card is that it reminds me of Web Spinner and Infest, so I want like a mechanical spider somewhere in this card.
Well, Infest never did anything really, right? It never became a card that people played. So this definitely seems like it could be just absolute trash, but our mech's going to be better than getting a bunch of beasts for Hunter.
I feel like there was a hot second, like a hot 2 weeks when we were all playing Infest and it was doing okay, but then we realized that they were better hunters to play.
I missed that hot week.
Yeah, I totally missed that for sure. Infest was also, I just looked it up to make sure, but it was more expensive. Yeah, it was 3 mana, so that's I think the big difference here.
Gotcha. Well, it's time to move on to mages and talk about a rather nutsoid card. The legendary spell for mages, Luna's Pocket Galaxy. It's going to cost you 7 mana, and it reads, change the cost of minions in your deck to 1.
Hey, did you guys watch the reveal video for this card?
No.
I have,
God,
yes.
have
the Japanese live action Hearthstone.
Yes.
Stop
what you're doing.
Stop
the show right now. Go watch the reveal video.
It's the best.
It is the best reveal video that has ever been. It is the Citizen Kane of reveal videos. It's insane how good it is. So yeah, I won't tell you what it is, John.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
Experience it for yourself. But after the show, go watch it right away.
I already spoiled it. It's live action Hearthstone. You just go watch it.
Sure, but whatever. But you don't. It goes beyond that, right? Like,
yeah. So you can look it up on YouTube. I tweeted it out today. I'm pulling a link right now, but it's just called Real Life Hearthstone Boomsday Card Reveal on YouTube. You can go find it. It's been making the rounds. I'm gonna link it at the top of the Boomsday Card Talk right there. So when you go to the show notes, if you see a random YouTube link, that's what that is. Dills is not joking.
Now let's talk about the card.
Yep.
Yeah.
So 7 mana change the cost of minions in your deck to 1. The example that was shown was pretty fun because if you use this alongside the what's the Mage legendary that where you draw a card when you play the card from your right? I can't remember the name now.
Oh,
but that was the combo.
It's
right?
It's Stargazer Luna.
Stargazer Luna.
Yeah.
So these two cards together cost 10 or whatever. Like it's it's right there. Stargazer Luna, it's right there. I'm not actually looking at the same thing you guys are looking at, Chad. Anyway, so Stargazer Luna, if you make all the minions in your deck cost 1 and then you play Stargazer Luna, then you draw a card. It's a minion that costs 1, you play it, you draw another card. If it's a minion that costs 1, you play it, you draw another card. Like, so you're basically able to OTK people with that. That's pretty sick. Seems real fun. The one thing about this card that I think is a little bit suspect is Mage doesn't really have a lot of ways to put minions back into their deck if they need to make them cost 1, right? You've got Baleful Banker as a like a neutral card and stuff, but they don't have they don't have like what Rogue has, right? Which is ganging up like cards back into their deck and then making them cost 1 and then finding them. So it's it's definitely limited by that, but still, damn. If you can get this off, if you can find a turn to play this. It's got a super powerful effect from there.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. And do you want to play Baleful Banker is like my follow-up to that as well? Like, I don't think you do.
Yeah, I don't know if you do, but chat room's also bringing up a good point that you can discover this with Glyph, which could make it 5 mana and also something you don't necessarily have to actually run in your deck. So pretty crazy.
Yeah, that'll happen sometimes.
Yeah.
And that'll be annoying for you.
Yeah.
And it just, this is like a deck defining type of effect, right? Like this is just something you can build around. And I like that it's legendary because I don't want people running 2 of these.
Yep.
So run 1, make it a little more inconsistent. It's really cool.
And if it was
and
a
it
druid,
doesn't worry me in the way the druid cards do. Like, sometimes like a mage will get this going and it'll be insane, but it's not going to be like, oh, every time they freaking do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's basically draw dependent because they don't, like you said, they don't have a lot of ways to put cards back in their deck. So if you're running this, hoping to get off a sweet combo, if you draw your combo, you're out of luck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Weird. Yeah, if you're trying to specifically get like Archmage,
Antonitis. I was just gonna say that was the one that came to my mind. I was like, that is so broken and busted that you could just play him for one and then have a whole bunch of cheap spells you just turn into fireballs. Plus you get all those cheap spells.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Like it's gonna be very, very difficult to actually pull off. This would be in like a super heavy minion deck, probably. But I'm not even 100% sure what that looks like. Because there's also the card that we got in Witchwood, and I can't remember the name of it, but book of something, maybe. That like you draw the cards and then you draw the cards and then if they're minions, you keep them. If they're spells, you get So maybe there's just a straight up minion mage that plays like the book and this and that's it.
Sure.
I don't know, but
well, I mean, you got currently people are.
And Eluneth, would really help.
Great,
yeah,
but it's the mountain giant thing and all that kind of stuff. Like it's there, and this would definitely be awesome in that. So
yeah, there's potential here. There's potential here, but it's also like at a glance it seems kind of nuts, and then when you think of, I don't know, quickly I kind of start poking holes in it. But
yeah, it might just be a fun effect. I definitely don't think it's as powerful as some of the druid stuff we've seen. So, but it could.
Yeah,
still
if
be
you
cool.
played a bunch of minions, this Eluneth, you waited until you drew and played this, then you play Eluneth, and then every minion from that, you draw 3 minions a turn. Every single one.
And they're all ones,
one.
so you get to play them. Yeah.
You just keep loading the board up, and you're like, all right, clear my board. And then if they do, you're like, all right, clear it again. And then if they do, you're like, all right, do it again. And like, how many times are they gonna be able to do it before you just start smashing their face in? So.
But I don't know if that's strictly better than just drawing a whole bunch of burn spells.
Yeah, no, I mean, right now, drawing a bunch of burn spells.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the next mage card that has not already been covered on the show is Meteorologist. Really should just be in front of a green screen with a tie. Anyway,
missed opportunity.
Meteorologist is 6 mana, is a 6 mana 3/3 rare mage minion with a battle cry that reads, for each card in your hand, deal 1 damage to a random enemy. This card just seems bad to me.
I mean, yeah, but we were just talking about this elemental mage deck that tends to have a lot of cards in hand and not a lot of ways to remove things because it's trying not to run spells.
Yeah,
right?
I'm excited about Elemental Mage, but I'm also reserved because it to me feels a little bit like my excitement for Beast Druid. Like I felt for like a year. I was going, maybe this is it, guys. Maybe this is the time for Beast Druid, and it never happened. And so this is a big wait and see for me in that regard.
It super is. It is something that can help that deck out though, because if you think about it, if you do have a full hand, you're shooting off 9 little missiles. Right?
I was gonna say, like, if this said it's a 3/3 battle cry cast Cinderstorm, is that something that you would play? A 3/3 that does 5 random damage.
2 cards in one where you're paying 3 for a 3/3 and 3 for a Cinderstorm, which is also kind of weak. But yeah, I mean, when you package 2 cards together, that does add some value. So again, it's if that deck is a thing and it needs removal and it can't run spells, and there's a lot of little dudes around that this would actually clear up, sure. Mm-hmm. But it's like you said, wait and see for sure.
Yeah, I've seen the Cinderstorm thing thrown around, and the thing with Cinderstorm is that you're doing that 5 split damage for 3 mana, so you're actually probably helping yourself get ahead on board. If you're doing that past turn 6, it's a lot less likely to get value, with the exception of very specific matchups like against Paladin. Mm-hmm. And that's why
it depends on but I mean, you also will have pings. Maybe you'll have little minions on board yourself. Maybe you'll have some elemental battle cries to help finish things off. To me, it seems possible, right? It doesn't seem like a for sure thing, but it seems like, okay, look, there's a tool that deck needs that they don't have, and this is kind of what that is, right? That they're missing, which is a way to kill stuff without just playing minions. You fall behind, and then you're like, okay, play minions. And then you kill them, and then I play minions, and then I'm just behind and I die. So they need some way to try to swing the board, and this could be it.
Fair.
I'm not saying, oh yeah, this is definitely it. I'm just saying it could be it.
All right, fair. I'm going to stick with wait and see. But Cosmic Anomaly is the next mage card we haven't discussed. It's a 4-mana, 4/3 common mage elemental minion with spell damage +2. So slightly understated as far as what you're paying for stats. Is it worth the spell damage +2?
I'm not sure, but this is my favorite card art of the whole set so far.
Oh, of course it is. It's shiny with constellations.
It's so shiny and it's all blue and purple. I love it. It's
Mildly off topic, but Blizzard involved. Jocelyn, do you just ride the Sparkle Pony in Heroes of the Storm that has like the galaxy that you see as it runs?
Yeah, I do.
That's it? That's the only mount you okay.
It's either that or the unicorn that has all the different color stars and the rainbow that comes out from behind it.
It farts rainbows. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this is like, even if Elemental Mage becomes a thing, I don't think you play this card.
Well, it's better than the Evolved Kobold, right?
That's an easy statement to make.
Sure. But that was played, I mean...
That did see play.
Freeze Mage for a little while, because that was during the time of Thaurissan and stuff, too. So, yeah, like if you... Also with Luna's Pocket Galaxy, if you get this going, maybe there's some sort of way to burst the hell out of people. I don't know. 2 spell damage can be a thing. But we don't have Ice Lance anymore in Standard, so in Wild, maybe you play this instead of the Evolved Kobold and you still try to Doris on it and you do the old school thing. But yeah, as just like a card on its own, it's not very good.
Well, the other thing, though, that we do have this expansion is the card that we talked about last week, Unexpected Results, that's modified by spell damage. So
yeah, but for
maybe
8
there's
mana, you're playing
something
a 4
there.
mana,
Yeah,
4/3 and 2 random 4-cost minions, and is that better than whatever else you could do for 8 mana? I don't know. Maybe.
I'm just wondering if there's some sort of spell damage mage deck out there that could take advantage of all of these different effects together, because we got the Emissary too, right? So
yeah, sure.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you could do Cosmic Anomaly, Emissary, and then Unexpected Results and get 2 6-cost minions, right?
Yes, yeah.
That's a lot of stuff on turn 10, but on turn 10, also other people are doing like Gul'dan and things like that. So is that better than doing something that powerful? I don't know.
But if you Jaina on 9 and then do this combo on 10, then they're all elementals, right? So
that's
maybe there's something there.
Those 2 are elementals. The random 2.
The random 2 won't be. Yeah, but at least your spell damage generators are elementals.
Sure.
That you can ping and make a water elemental afterwards. The next turn, if it's still there. I don't know. I'm reaching. I know I'm reaching.
Card, the Shooting Star. We haven't talked about that yet, have we?
No, we have not talked about the Shooting Star. It's the last mage card we're going to talk about today.
3 to 2 minions is pretty good for 1 mana. So I don't know. Yeah, there's stuff. But again, anytime you see a 4 mana, 4/3 spell damage, it's like, I'm not too excited.
Yeah, I think we generally haven't been excited about spell damage in cards historically. But this time, I feel like there's maybe more reasons to take a second look at spell damage as an effect in Mage, maybe.
Yeah, Dills, you have like a well-recorded history on the show of like being very kind of against taunt or kind of down on taunt, thinking it's not really worth whatever you're losing.
No, I mean I just think it was overrated as a mechanic early on.
Gotcha. Well, that's how I feel about spell damage. Like I feel anytime spell damage gets thrown on a minion, I'm like, well, it's just a weak minion with a not particularly great effect.
When it does something else, though, alongside the spell damage, like Azure Drake is always a really good card, right? Blood Mage Stalnos has always been historically a pretty decent card.
But they both have card draw tied to their spell damage. Not even any other thing, but specifically card draw.
We consider card draw like the best effect in the game, basically.
Yeah.
And we consider spell damage the worst effect. So yeah, I mean, when you add the best effect in the game on top of what has historically been the most useless effect in the game, yeah, you've got a good card.
Yeah. But then obviously there is Malagos and things, and there's ways to really ramp it up to make it super sweet. So to me, there's always potential there. Evolves Kobold in Freeze Mage was one of the examples where you're like, oh yeah, that's pretty clever. Look at how much damage you can do now. So
it's very
again, like Ice Lance is now in Wild. So
I'm not too sure. You mentioned Shooting Star. That's the last mage card we have to cover. It's a 1 mana common mage spell, and it reads deal 1 damage to a minion and the minions next to it. So yes, you're absolutely right. Spell damage makes this card very appealing.
Yeah, and I think without spell damage, this card sucks. So
it's not great.
You need to have spell damage added for this card to do stuff.
But also, Glyph is still a thing, and you maybe just need that extra little bit of damage to get through something. So yeah, I don't think I'm going out of my way to include this in my deck, but there are times I'll be very happy that it comes up off of a Discover.
This does feel very mage-like to me, though, right? Like buffing my spells that I cast. That seems like what mages should be doing. So they're getting very. This is a very arcane-focused mage set of cards right here.
Yes.
Like
yeah.
No
absolutely.
more freeze effects. We're not getting another.
No more fires. Yeah.
Storm or a face damaging spell yet. We're getting a bunch more slow things down, control the board, generate value type of cards for mage, which could be super cool.
Can I permission to go on just a brief tirade?
Sure, tirade away, my friend.
Cool. All right. 2 people back to back in chat room said good versus odd paladin. You're not wrong, but dealing any damage at all, ever, is good versus odd paladin. So I'm not going to stop on every card and say good versus odd paladin. Also, because of the way ladder works, being good against one matchup does not make it a good card, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean every card's going to have a good matchup. Like,
yeah.
We're going to talk in generalizations most of the time.
Yeah. That's kind of why I'm like leaving out certain stuff like that, because it's just like, odd paladin is a thing you should be concerned about, but I'm not sure you should be putting shooting star into your deck for one matchup.
Yeah,
I would.
And you're still using a card to deal with them pushing the button.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
a big.
To me, I'm like, Arcane Explosion, good against Odd Paladin. I still don't play it.
Thank you, Dills. You just made my point better than I did.
Dill's just like, yep.
Yeah. All right, let's move into Paladin cards. Speaking of which, and talk about their legendary minion, Crystal Smith Kangor. Sounds like something I need to get an ointment for in my mouth. It's a 2-mana, 1/2 legendary minion with the Divine Shield, Lifesteal, and your healing is doubled.
So most of the time, these legendary spells that share names with the legendary minions seem to like do something something that complements.
Well, like we just talked about Luna.
Army does, right?
Yeah. Endless Army is the mech resurrection, and they keep their magnetic upgrades.
He's not even a mech.
And yeah.
Oh yeah, he's not. I thought he was a mech. Oh man, that's dumb.
He's a controller of mechs, but also doubles your healing. What?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Somebody needs to build the mechs, right?
This card's really good against Odd Paladin.
It just seems like he should have some sort of something.
I love your chat
that
room.
has to do with mechs. I don't know. This seems really weird to me. Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm turn 2. I'd rather just push the button and make 2 1/1s.
Yeah, Thrombin is killing me in the chat room. Yeah, I'm not doing a lot of healing. I feel like as Paladin as of late, and I don't know. This seems really not that exciting to me. Which is fine.
This would be exciting if it was a mech, because then you could magnetic the crap out of it and make it really big, and then possibly like even with 1 or 2 buffs you could heal for 6, 8, or 10, and like that would be good.
Sure.
But this, without the mech tag, this is really weird.
How many cards are we missing from Paladin right now?
4.
Just 3.
4? Okay. So I mean it's possible that there's some really dope thing that's coming that this makes a lot more sense. But right now with the cards we've seen, it's like this one just seems at odds with what everything else is doing, right?
We're only missing 3 because Prismatic Lens is the one that you guys just revealed, right? On Streamer Showdown.
It's not on here yet. So I just looked. The question was asked. I looked at gray backs, and that's how I came up with my answer.
No, that's the most recent reveal.
Come on, Hearthstone. Actually, I'm just gonna refresh. I bet they've updated it.
I was gonna say I'm looking at Hearthstone now, and it's definitely there. But yeah,
Jocelyn,
there it is. I'm sorry.
This is not helpful. All right, there it is. All right, so Kangor. I'm not excited about this card at all. It's my.
No,
that's all I got.
It's just I don't know. Just doesn't have the archetype, I think, in play right now, and maybe that changes. So obviously,
maybe in wild as hand buff paladin.
Wow. I mean, the other thing too is, if you just need to heal a bunch, they still do have their forbidden healing card in wild, right? So yeah, if you play that, you play this, and you play that, and then you just heal for what, 30? You've healed a full. That's like Reno.
Yep.
Sure. Maybe.
Yeah. Might be.
Or you could play this in wild with heal bot or something. Heal for 16.
Ooh.
Sure. Maybe.
I like it.
I feel like there's probably more options for usage in wild, which is kind of true of every card, but I can't see this in standard, really.
No. You can play this after you play the Death Knight, right? So if you're trying to play a Death Knight deck and then you just need to heal, and you get that weapon and you swing and you heal for 10, I don't know. Just right now, that's none of those things are odd paladin, and that's what people are playing when they play paladin.
Right. It's like I listened to last week's episode, and there were a couple times, Dills, when you were just like, this is just really hard to evaluate right now. And that's how I feel about Kangor. I'm like, right now it just seems boring, and this is not at all in line with A, how we're playing Paladin right now, or even B, the mech thing that it looks, the mech road it looks like it's about to head down.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I just look at this and I'm like, I don't know where you fit in, Kangor, but I'm happy to be wrong. Next is Prismatic Lens. It's a 4-mana epic paladin spell. It reads, draw a minion and a spell from your deck, swap their costs. I got to reveal this on Streamer Showdown and try to trick
What
Crip.
was the take there?
Yeah.
Are people excited about this card?
Very, a lot of back and forth. This is a weird-ass card, and almost as if because it's a minion and a spell, it almost makes it worse in a way. It's so...
because what you could do is you could build a deck of all minions with a couple of spells whose cost you want, or vice versa, right? But I don't know, it feels really weird, you can't build around it properly to make sure that you're taking advantage of it. I don't know.
Well, you could play some big ass minions and some secrets, and then you get some big ass 1-cost minions, right?
Yeah, I was talking.
Or you could go the other way and play Dino Size and some cheap bros, and then get cheap Dino Size. There's things that's build around for sure.
Yeah, Dino Size was
for 4 is bad. So you have to be doing something very specific with it, right?
Yeah, man. Druid gets 4 mana for 4 cards. And
yeah, what's up with that?
This is just, it's strange. The Dino Size is the one that interests me the most, because you could just have a deck full of minions and then Prismatic Lens and then Dino Size. Although if you're trying to increase your chances of actually drawing Prismatic Lens, you're going to have 2 in there, and there's a chance you might get your other Prismatic Lens instead of a Dino Size.
Instead of Dino Size, yeah. But if you get your other Prismatic Lens, then you just do it again, and then definitely get Dino Size.
That's fair. Yeah, you're right, because then as long as your minions aren't expensive,
unless
if
you're only pulling cheap minions, that would make sense.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that's where my head goes, is do we ever return to just kind of a mid-range paladin? Because if everything is just kind of affordable, then who cares? This is just draw at that point.
Yeah. Someone just mentioned branching paths as draw 2 cards. No, it's not draw 2 cards for 4 mana. It's also gain 12 for 4 mana, or make your minions kill the other guy for 4 mana. It's all of those things in 1 card. So I don't think you can make that comparison.
Yeah, the flex is worth quite a bit there.
Yeah. And this is not technically just draw 2 cards for 4 mana either. It's draw 2 specific cards, do a specific effect. So
yes, and swapping their costs,
a build around card.
Yeah, is what actually complicates it quite a bit.
Yeah. But I'm going to try to make something cool with this, for sure.
Yeah, this is just a bananas card that's, again, very hard to evaluate.
I feel like this is what I want epics to be. Fun build-around cards that you could maybe make a deck if you happen to open it in a pack and you want to play something cool. I don't want epics to be, super powerful must-haves, going in all these different decks. I want to go back to when epics were fun. And I feel like this does that.
Oh, I'm with you. I think this is a straight up this is the poster child for epics. Also, I just realized the actual lens, which is a gem, is epic in color. It's a purple gem.
It is.
Oh, nice.
Nice little reference, Hearthstone. Well played. All right, Shrink Ray is the next Paladin spell we'll be talking about. It's a 5-mana rare Paladin spell, and it reads, set the attack and health of all minions to 1. All minions.
All minions.
Hey, this is good in Odd Pally.
This is, sure. This just seems like a really strong control-y type card. Yeah, it's just diffuse a bad situation, right? So
yeah,
I can definitely see this being run if a control paladin archetype comes along.
That's what they should have called it, diffuse.
Yeah. To me, it's like this is the type of thing that a control paladin just needs to be able to do, right? So yeah, I like it. I think it's well costed too. I think if this costs 6, it would be terrible. If it costs 4, it would be busted. 5 is right.
I have nothing more to add. Joss?
Nope, that's bang on.
I will bang on. Christology.
Hang on, guys.
Christology is next. It's a 2-mana rare paladin spell, and it reads, draw 2 1-attack minions from your deck.
Which 1-attack minions do I want to be playing? I mean, I guess, yeah, you're finding your Crystal Smith Kangor.
Oh, man. We don't know if that's good yet, so that means
No.
I don't know if this is good yet.
No, yeah, I cannot evaluate this card. Obviously, 2-mana draw 2 is good, but we need 2 1-attack minions that we really like.
Yeah. Need to see.
Is there a possibility
Lunessa
for
makes sense. Sure, Lunessa.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
What about throwing this in Uneven Pally? Maybe?
Sure.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about that because I hadn't thought about even Paladin in like
Yeah.
over a
Yeah.
month. But no,
Once
you're
Called Arms got nerfed. Even Paladin just
Just
disappeared.
fell right off.
yeah,
Yeah.
it fell off the
But
face.
yeah, okay, so you could do this with Lunessa and Meat Wagon and that kind of stuff in Even Paladin. That might be kind of interesting. And then play a bunch of buffs,
Jocelyn, I think you stumbled across the most interesting take on this card.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could still steed things and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, no, there's definitely something there. It's just like I said, we need to see what this deck looks like before we can say that this is definitely good or not. Obviously, like its effect has potential.
Yeah, because my gut reaction was this is a card I'm only interested in for Wild, where there's just a lot more options for 1-attack minions. But
Hobgoblin deck, anybody?
ooh, yes, going back in time. That was
Yeah, right. I
was
forgot
like-
about that one.
pre-Beast Druid when we would like just anytime something was like, I don't know, Hobgoblin deck, yeah, maybe. All right, cool. Let's take a quick break here from the card talk and thank one of our sponsors for today. MeUndies is back, which means, yes, listeners, it is time for the 3 of us to talk openly about our underwear. You've heard this by now. You probably have heard this by now. And there's a reason for that. It's because they're super soft. It's the softest underwear ever. You don't understand if you haven't tried MeUndies, and you should try them because you can go to MeUndies.com/TAC and you can get 15% off your first pair. You also get free shipping. They also have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. So if you don't like it for some reason, I don't know, maybe the prints are too fun. You're back.
Don't
My
like
new pair-
comfort in your nether regions, then you won't do that.
My new pair has sloths on it. They're amazing.
Floss?
Sloths.
Oh, sloths. I thought you said
Yeah.
floss. And I'm like, that seems a
Floss.
little on the nose,
Yeah.
especially if you're getting thongs.
Oh, God.
Sloths. Oh.
They also have some glow in the dark stuff going on these days, that's fun. That's fun and exciting.
They do, and just because the lights are off doesn't mean the party's over.
Oh no, that means the party's just getting
It's
started.
just beginning.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but seriously, they're great. They've been very kind to all 3 of us. They have sent us multiple samples of MeUndies, and I love them. They're always I used to have that T-shirt I always go to when it's first out of the wash. Now I have underwear. It's the first underwear I wear when the wash is over, and I need to get some more. So you should go check them out. They also have just launched a brand new membership. You get access to exclusive prints that no one else can get. You also get special member pricing on every product that MeUndies makes, and you can switch styles. You can skip any month that you want. So go check out that membership. But again, also remember that they have this offer for Angry Chicken listeners. Go to MeUndies.com/TAC to get 15% off your first pair and free shipping. We thank them for their support, and we thank you all for giggling along with us as we talk about our underwear. So go check them out. MeUndies. Thanks again. All right, now back to the cards, because there's many more to talk about today. We're only into Priest, if you're following along at home, and we have yet to talk about Xeric Master Cloner. Xeric Master Cloner is a 6-mana 5/5 legendary priest minion with a death rattle that reads, if you've cast any spells on this minion, resummon it.
So there's potential for like infinite Xeric Master Cloners.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Which kind of makes sense in a cloning class, right? Like that's the theme they were going for with priests. Yeah. So you should have a bazillion clones. Mm-hmm. That's his cap, by the way. You can only have a bazillion. That's all.
Only a bazillion. Yes. You gotta stop there. Not a bazillion and one.
Nope.
Bazillion.
There have to be some rules.
Yes. So I mean, the thing is, like you've got Powered Shield, you've got the one that changes or whatever. You got there's not a ton of buff spells in Priest. It's not like Paladin, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you can also cast like that healing spell. What is it? Oh god, I'm like, there's too many cards at this point in Hearthstone. Heal a minion and yourself for 5, like that kind of thing. It's not a buff.
Oh, Holy Fire.
Yeah.
Or no, wait,
Binding
that's
heal.
deal 5 debt. Binding heal. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there's like things you can do. We're also getting another buff card, right? Spell, or not buff, but another spell that does stuff. There's just lots of things you can cast on this, and then if you just kind of space them out, you just have this 5/5 that never goes away, right? Mm-hmm. And that's really annoying. They need to silence it or otherwise transform it somehow.
Does it come back? It doesn't come back like if you buff it, it just comes back as the 5/5 again, right? It doesn't come back.
Pretty sure, yeah, because it's considered dying, so it's considered
right.
Like
so it goes
to the graveyard
and then comes back. Okay,
because they changed all the rules about from the deck to the hand, from the hand to the board, from the board back to the hand, but the death pool, the graveyard, still removes everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to get it back as a 5/5 with that death rattle, and you're gonna have to cast another spell on it. But dude, I mean, that's just super annoying, right? Your opponent's gonna be like, I just can't get rid of this damn thing, So, no, yeah, if you death it yourself, like let's say you trade into something and then you cast death on it, it comes back.
I mean, do you really need to do that? Your priest, you can already heal him up. Yeah. Like, do you need to be
probably not
wasting death on your own minion just to bring him back with full health? Like,
sure. And in Wild, I could see you playing this in like Quest Priest, or in Standard you can play in Quest Priest too, because like it's summoning, right? So
yeah.
It's adding to your quest. There's just lots of potential here.
Plus,
good thing it's a legendary. I don't want multiples of these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Plus, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about the next card we're going to discuss, because you can just combo this with Power Word Replicate, a new 5-mana epic priest spell that reads, choose a friendly minion, summon a 5/5 copy of it. Now you've got 2 of these, and the one that you cast Replicate on it had a spell cast on it, so he starts coming back, so you got 2 of them, so even if your enemy has silence, too bad. More 5/5s for you to deal with.
Yeah, this is crazy.
Gross.
I like that one costs 6 and one costs 5. You can't do this in the same turn. So, the opponent gets a chance to respond. But, yeah.
Can we?
Or, what about, like, I cube something, and then I replicate the cube, and just all sorts of stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Oh, buddy. There's some crazy stuff going to be possible in Priest. This excites me. Like, this is the kind of thing I'm looking at. I'm like, oh, my God, please be good, because I want to play a deck where this is the theme, but I want to be able to climb ladder with it.
Sure. And we got the Reckless Experimenter out there too, so like it feels like there's gonna be all sorts of cool things you can do with all of these. They all really work well together.
One other thing you can do is play that Elixir card, and then there's a chance that you can give the minion +2/+2, and also get Death Rattle, return it to your hand.
Yep.
Even more disgustingness. And even then, even if you're just playing the Elixir and you don't get that, there's still other good, like 2/2 Lifesteal, 2/2 Divine Shield, like
2/2 summon a 1/1 copy of it.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. Because then it's a 1/1 that's easy to die, and then it comes back as a 5/5.
Yep.
We found the answer to spreading plague, everyone. If your entire board is 5/5s, you can just trade evenly. It's fine. Or not even evenly, because your dudes are still alive at the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like playing Quest Rogue, but Priest.
Build your own Quest Road board with Priest cloning. I can't talk. Oh, that's great. I'm really excited for Priest. And we still have 3 cards as long as I don't hit refresh and another one pops up to talk to be unveiled for Priest. So that's all the Priest cards.
I'm actually this is a curious little science thing. If I do cast the elixir and it's the summon a copy, would the copy then technically have had a spell cast on it because it's a copy of a minion that has now had a spell cast on it?
Ooh, interesting.
Oh, that's a really good
or would
question.
You have to then cast another spell on it, right?
That's a really good question that I can't answer.
I could see it work either way, and it would be like, okay.
I feel like logically, I would expect it to have the spell cast on it because you're doing a copy.
Yeah, it's a copy at that moment, right? So, yeah.
If it was like just said summon... Oh, wait.
Well, I'm guessing...
I don't know, yeah.
But it's a buff with a name, right? So
yeah.
If the 1/1 then has that buff with the name when you hover over the card, then sure.
Interesting.
If I were making the rules, I would say yes.
Yep. I lost my place, and I know we're done with Priest cards. It means we're on to the Rogue Legendary. Myra Rot Spring. It's a 5-mana 4/2 legendary rogue minion with a battle cry that reads, discover a death rattle minion. Also gain its death rattle.
I feel like this is an interesting card.
It certainly is. If you think, I mean, obviously 5-mana 4/2 sucks, but if you have a really good death rattle,
you want it to die anyway, right? Because you want to get whatever the death rattle is.
Yeah.
It's discover, and that is more powerful than random. So that's a, I think, check mark in the pro column.
I wish that it was discover a death rattle minion from your deck, right?
Yes. Oh,
So
that would be so much better. So you could control the pool. Yeah.
But instead, it's just discover a death rattle minion, so you don't know if you're going to get something awesome. To me, it's just like if the death rattle pool is pretty sweet and there's some really awesome things out there. Yeah, Sylvanas and Wild, that would be crazy.
Yeah, the standard's pretty, like, for especially class specific in standard, there's not a lot. I mean, you've got, actually, I just ran a filter. You have 3 that are rogue specific minions with death rattles in standard. You have Bone Baron, Kobold Illusionist, Sherazin, and Cursed Castaway.
None of those are super awesome.
Mm-hmm. And they'll come up more often than neutral death rattles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this is just a wild card, potentially?
Maybe.
Until we get, potentially new and better death rattles down the road. But
you're getting a card too, right? Like you're discovering a death rattle minion, so you are also getting value.
True.
And you're putting a death rattle into play. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
like it feels like there's definitely stuff here. It's just it's as a one of without getting a specific death rattle every time. Does this actually make the cut? This is good enough for standard. It's definitely seems like it's super sweet. I'm gonna love this card in arena because it's just value, right? So
yeah.
I also really like the art for this card. I've been trying to keep my art love to a minimum, but this card is really sweet looking. But yeah, I have nothing else to add. Let's just talk about Necreum Vial next because this is kind of wild. Necreum Vial is a 5-mana epic rogue spell, and it reads, trigger a friendly minion's death rattle twice.
Okay. Has to be a really high value death rattle because 5 mana is a lot to pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
Although it's rogue, you can prep it.
Cube things. Cube things
Sure.
scare me.
Yeah,
Cube.
You prep the vial, and then for 7 mana, you're cubing something and then getting 4 copies of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll get 2 copies when the cube dies.
When the cube dies. So yeah, yep, that's pretty crazy.
I know I've said this before, but I really wish they hadn't made cube.
They also have Blight Nozzle Crawler coming, right? Which is death rattle summon a 1/1 ooze with poisonous and rush. So if you can get this and that off together, you get 2 of those, and then you're gonna get another one when the Blight Nozzle dies. And it's gonna be crazy, like saying all these names and casting situations.
Yep.
So I mean, yeah, there's and that's 2 rush poisonous minions that's 2 kill anythings, right? That's crazy.
How hard is it to OTK with Leroy with a cube and this card and stuff like prep and whatnot?
Impossible without some Thaurissan ticks.
Sap.
Why?
Couldn't you just sap your own Leroy?
Well, Leroy costs 5. This costs 5.
Well, you sap the
Cube
Leroy.
costs 5.
You sap the Leroy back, and then it reduces his cost, and then you can play this.
You mean Shadow Step?
Or Shadow Step?
Shadow
sorry,
Step.
not
Okay.
sap. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting my
You
cards
can't
mixed
sap
up.
your own Leroy.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean.
I think you probably still just do Leroy Shadow Step, Leroy Shadow Step, Leroy Step more often, right?
That's true.
And that still requires Thorson because Leroy that costs 11 at this point. So yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be that's hard. That seems hard, but doable with some Emperor Thorson ticks for sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
So wild.
Yeah. I don't know. This card. There's something about this card that scares me a lot.
Oh, for sure. Someone's gonna figure out how to do something crazy with this, and we're just gonna. Is that gonna be a meme crazy thing, or is it gonna be like legitimately crazy, and it's gonna shake up the meta?
Yeah. But what rogue card is next? Blight Nozzle Crawler. You kind of already talked about that. I don't think we mentioned the stats though. It's a 4-mana 2/4 mech, and that's the one that Dill's just mentioned with the Death Rattle that summons a 1/1 ooze with Poisonous and Rush. You can get up to some pretty crazy stuff with Necreum Vial, or our next card, Necreum Blade, which is a 3-mana 3 attack 2 durability rare rogue weapon with a Death Rattle that reads trigger the Death Rattle of a random friendly minion.
So 3-mana 3/2 is not great as a weapon, but like Shadow Blade did see some play.
Yeah, it did.
So
and
yeah, like the fact that it's only 2 attacks means you can hit the turn you play it, the next turn play your Death Rattle minion, hit again, trigger it, right? So
right, I think that I think it's actually a good thing that this doesn't have more durability.
yeah, people are talking about the new Mecha'thun. No, that doesn't work because Cthulhu needs to not be on the board anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. We haven't gotten to that
and
yet.
they'll
But
still look and see, oh, do you have cards in your hand in your deck? Like, it doesn't just trigger that Death Rattle
Yeah.
without meeting its conditions. But yeah, like, look, I play this on 3. On turn 4, I play Blight Nozzle Crawler, and then I kill something, and I get a 1/1 with Rush, and I kill that, and I got a 2/4 in play, and I'm ahead on board, right? I don't know. There's stuff.
yeah, I think if Death Rattle Rogue becomes a thing, you run Necreum Blade.
Sure. Yeah. Totally.
I think it's kind of what it boils down to in my head. Like, is this archetype work? Okay, cool. Here's a tool for that archetype.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's very neat.
You run this in Wild with that big beetle.
What's a big
Are you
beetle?
talking about a Nubarak?
Beetle, 8/4, and then it summons a 4/4, and then puts it back in your hand.
Oh yeah, Nubarak.
A Nubarak. Yeah.
Nubarak.
I was like, are you talking about Nubarak? Yeah, there's a card I haven't thought about in a long time.
I know, right? That card was actually, I've had some fun with that card. I had to craft that card because I never actually got it, and then it was just so fun to try to do crazy stuff with.
It is a really fun card. Let's talk about a non-Death Rattle Rogue card, Pogo Hopper. This is a robotic bunny on a freaking Pogo.
Best card in the set.
It's Bunny Hopper.
It's pretty good. It's a 2-mana 1/1 rare rogue mech with a battle cry that reads gain +2/+2 for each other Pogo Hopper you played this game.
So bounce effects, Shadow Step,
Lab Recruiter?
Gang up. I'm definitely gonna go in Wild and make my Pogo Hopper deck.
Oh god! And then it's
I just need a way to make sure I draw the damn cards, right? That's gonna be the thing.
Shadow
but
Step.
we've got all these ways to draw stuff in Rogue, so yeah, I'll play that. I'll do my Myra's Unstable Element. I'll just draw tons of Pogo Hoppers all day long. And spiders. Pogo Hoppers and spiders.
Oh, it's going to be real fun in Wild because then you have all the GVG mechs as well, and it's a mech, and you have mech synergy, and it's already buffing itself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, this is cool, man. I'm excited for this.
Can you dig it?
I'm also going to play Bran Bronzebeard in this deck, so I'm going to double Battle Cry. It's going to be sweet.
Oh man, with only a couple of Pogo Hoppers played,
once
you
you're
could.
like on the
Oh
fourth
man,
and fifth
disgusting.
Pogo Hopper, you
Yeah.
double that Battle Cry.
Oh my lord! It'd be like, imagine if you kept bouncing Van Cleef back to your hand and you just kept getting bigger every time you played him.
Yep. Oh my gosh, more here in chat. Witchwood Piper to draw it. Oh yeah, don't play any 1-drops. Play 2-drops that are Pogo Hoppers, and that's it.
Oh, dude,
I'm totally gonna have some fun with this card. This is gonna be great.
Cool. All right, let's move on to Shaman. Talk about the Shaman legendary spell, the Stormbringer. It's a 7-mana spell, and it reads, transform your minions into random legendary minions.
Probably terrible, but super fun.
I mean, if you can find a way to just like, isn't there there's that one card that makes all of your minions when they die turn into totems, right? So you make a board
Yes.
real sticky, and then you just Stormbringer. It's like evolve them all into legendaries. Maybe some awesome stuff happens. This seems memey to me, though.
Yeah, this is a meme card.
Pretty damn memey.
This is a meme card, but one I was assuming you, Jocelyn, to be like, this is bad, but it's pink and it looks like it'll be a swirly pretty golden and it'll make golden legendaries on your board, so I need a golden one. That was I was expecting that to be your hot take.
If you get a golden one of these, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, no, you definitely need it. If you're gonna play this, you have to play a golden version.
Gotta play a golden one.
You cannot play a normal version of this card.
All right,
But yeah, it's still bad.
Yeah, let's talk about Thunderhead. 4-mana, 3/5 epic shaman elemental minion that reads, after you play a card with Overload, summon 2 1/1 sparks with Rush.
Do the sparks do anything, or are they just?
Are they just 1/1s?
Didn't even think to
Because
check.
there's another 1/1 sparks with Rush.
No.
Okay.
No image of
If
the
there's
token.
if there's no
Voltaic
image,
Burst.
it's probably just 1/1s.
Well, and that card, the Voltaic Burst, actually has Overload, so you could literally play on 5. You play 4-mana 3/5, and then you play this, and you get 4 1/1s with Rush. So you instantly are able to, like, you're like unleashing the hounds and playing a 3/5 and potentially doing more of that afterwards. Maybe.
Might
Maybe.
be something. I mean, this to me looks like we're trying a different type of token shaman, and maybe Bloodlust finds a home again in a deck list.
Sure, but with Rush, that means you won't be able to like OTK with.
No,
it,
I'm not talking about that.
But you'll be able to get the board back, and then maybe you just get a bunch of minions to stick at some point because you're just making so many annoying tokens.
Yeah, that's my thought. Is that you've exhausted their board control so many times. I'm not speaking to the Rush. I'm just speaking about the ability to make so many tokens, and maybe you can consider putting a Violet Teacher in a Shaman deck.
Sure. I mean, with Zap and with Voltaic Burst and with Lightning Bolt and with all these like cheap spells Shaman has, that also all have Overload 1, and Thunderhead just requires you to Overload. So okay, sure.
I'm not saying it will be a thing. I'm saying it could be.
It could be. Yeah.
That's
but
what I think.
Probably it'll still be even Shaman and Shadowwalk.
Mm-hmm.
Most
the
likely.
1/1 sparks with Rush are elementals.
Okay. So you can Earthen Might them and draw random.
Oh, that's a really good point. Yeah.
You do stuff. Yeah, there's stuff there. All right.
There's could be stuff there.
Yeah. Well, the thing
Witch's
is,
Cauldron, you have them die and you summon random shaman spells.
Yeah. Oh, there's.
I don't know. I'm spitballing here.
There's value there. Yeah, it's interesting. It's making me think of Shaman in a different way than we're currently thinking about Shaman, and that's why I'm not instantly discounting it. Because I don't think it doesn't work in the archetypes that currently exist, but maybe there's a new archetype here.
Yeah, this is better than seeing freeze Shaman cards. That's for
Yes.
sure.
Yes, totally. Cool. Next is Omega Mind, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. It's a 2-mana 2/3 epic shaman minion with a battle cry that reads, if you have 10 mana crystals, your spells have lifesteal this turn.
So I immediately think of Volcano.
Mm-hmm.
You
Of
get
course
to
you
turn
do.
10, you play this, you Volcano, you gain 15 health and clear a board. Right?
That's kind of the only real damaging spell they're playing right now, right? Like,
I mean, well, if you Lightning Storm, you
Lightning
gain a bunch
Storm,
of
yeah,
health,
that's
too.
true.
Yeah.
I was
But-
thinking like Lava Burst, like Lightning Bolt, all that kind of stuff. They're not really playing, but yeah, Volcano's really good.
So I could potentially see this being added to Shudderwalk Shaman just because they do need to heal oftentimes as the game goes along and they're waiting to draw one or more of their final combo pieces. So, and they do run Lightning Storm and Volcano, and they run Healing Rain and stuff too. So maybe, yeah, seems like it would go there.
Is there room though?
Sure. Totally.
That is the question.
I mean, there's a lot of cards in there that are just like, this is just a defensive type card or a draw type card or whatever.
So take out another defensive card that's maybe not as good and put this in instead.
This is a defensive card, right? Plus, it's a battle cry that will then happen with your Shudderwalks later, but that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter by that point.
Because once you're playing your 1-mana Shudderwalks, you're not playing any more spells at that point.
No.
Killing them with Life Drinker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that it's because it's Omega. I'm not like, if you need the healing, you're against aggro, right? But if you're against aggro, you're not planning for turn 10, are you?
Well, there's often times, though, when I'm playing against Shudderwalk, and it goes, and not necessarily that I'm aggro or something, but it goes late, I'm trying to kill them, and they healing rain or something on like turn 10. So this is kind of like just another way to healing rain. Right?
Yeah, and that's where the space. I'm not sure what you take out to slot this in. I don't think you take out healing rain, because healing rain.
I'm not saying it definitely goes in. I'm just saying like that's where I see it slotting in, right? Because that's the most late game slow defensive shaman like that there is. Unless there's another because that's where this card wants to be, right? A super slow late game has some sort of way to end the game at the end, just needs to survive at the end, right?
Yeah.
That's what the card is trying to do.
Yep. Well, shall we talk about Eureka?
Sure.
Eureka is a 6-mana rare shaman spell that reads summon a copy of a random minion from your hand. So you're going to pay 6 mana to summon a copy of a random minion from your hand. You can't choose.
I mean, it's a copy, so you still get to play it. The only thing I could think of is like Snow Fury Giants or something.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 mana Malagos is good too.
It has to be a big shaman, right? Because
yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I summoned a copy of my Omega Mind. Woo!
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely only playing specific minions, and you're trying to get. But for 6 mana, you're not discounting it by any more than 4 ever, right? So it needs to be something where, the other 4 mana that you use is super effective at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, Earth Elemental with no overload. No overload. Infrarogue, you yes, points.
Okay.
Points to you.
Sure. You pay 1 more up front for that Earth Elemental, but you don't overload.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, maybe this is another one of those, like, if Big Shaman becomes a thing, cool.
Then maybe this goes in. Yeah.
I think this definitely goes in, but this is the only thing that even makes me think of Big Shaman. There's been nothing in recent to make me think that Big Shaman might work.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Except for
I mean,
this card.
you're cheating. You're cheating stuff out. That's kind of what's going on here. So,
but not much stuff and not much cheaper. So how much of a cheat is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I look at this and then I'm like, but Druid, what's going on?
Well, here's the thing though. It is a copy, so like, if you do cheat out Malagos with this and they somehow deal with it, like you could cheat it out and then just be like, well, I got another one.
True.
I could Eureka
so
once
a way to
and then
have
Eureka again, and then if they kill both of them, I'm like, okay, well now here's the actual Malagos. Kill this one. Can you kill 4 or 3 4/12s in 3 consecutive turns? It's pretty hard to do.
If that's your hardcore strategy, though, are you running no other minions in the deck?
You're probably running some, and you're just trying to play them out. You're running things like Acolytes of Pain and stuff like that, probably.
Gotcha.
Just like draw cards.
6 mana Acolyte of Pain. All right.
You just don't do it until you get all the
I know.
Well, let's talk about Storm Chaser next. It's a 4-mana 3/4 rare Shaman Elemental with a battle cry that reads: draw a spell from your deck that costs 5 or more. Hey, you can draw your Eureka.
Yeah, or Bloodlust.
Volcano.
Shaman doesn't have a lot of high cost spells actually, because their overload is such a thing for them, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Which makes this card interesting, because that means it's very targeted draw.
And okay, so you can find your Stormbringer too. Yes.
Yeah, cool. I guess. I don't think I'm playing that card on purpose.
It could come from Hagatha though. But then you wouldn't be drawing it with Storm Chaser.
Yeah, that doesn't really factor into
it would be already in your hand.
Doesn't really factor into the Storm Chaser.
Actually, people are bringing up some interesting cards. I didn't even think about Alakir with Eureka. Just going back to Eureka for a second. Because you could actually Eureka double Rockbiter and smash him for 24, right? Or wait, no, 18. Never mind, that sucks.
Smashing them for 18 sucks.
Well, I mean,
what a world we live in right now.
There's other worlds where, there's other OTK things where you like smash them for 30 and kill them. Yeah.
Can you imagine though having this conversation in like original vanilla Hearthstone.
Yeah, like episode 3 or 4 of this show.
Yeah, like smack him in the face for 18. That's bad.
Yeah.
Remember Force of Nature Savage Roar? Do you remember playing around 14?
Yeah. Wow.
Jocelyn remembers.
14 whole damage.
Oh God! Somebody please clip Jocelyn remembers, because that just goes right in the funny bone. I want that to become a thing. Yeah. So I don't. This is another one of those cards where like I don't see this being necessary right now or finding a home in decks that exist right now, but it's very interesting for potential like future archetypes.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. If there's some super dope spell that you really need to find and it's expensive, and I don't know. I mean, I guess I could see maybe you could play this in Spellstone Shaman just to find your Spellstones, because those are kind of important, right?
Yeah.
That hasn't really been like a real archetype, but maybe with a little bit more support, it becomes one. So possibly.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
Plus, it has Panda Elementals, and I freaking love their design. So, more Pandarian Elementals, please.
They are good. They are good. What, by the way, what's that doing in another Storm themed expansion?
Don't think about it.
Don't think about it too hard. Okay, I won't, because I'm with you.
Just let it happen, Garrett. Just let it happen.
All right, I will. I will always let Pandaria Elementals happen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Voltaic? Is that a word?
Yes.
It is now.
I've never heard Voltaic in my life. Voltaic Burst is next.
Is Libidinous Floop a thing?
Yeah, but Voltaic seems like it is a word, and I just said
it is a word. All right, relating
it.
to electricity produced by chemical action in a battery.
Just not a word.
I was going to say,
I
feel like I know like voltaic cells is a thing that's in my head for some reason, and that would be why, because science in high school crap.
And also related to galvanic. Like galvanized.
I just made it by in science in high school. Just barely made it out of there. Anyway, Voltaic Burst is a 1-mana rare shaman spell, and it reads summon 2 1/1 sparks with rush. Overload for 1. This is what we were kind of referencing when we were talking about Thunderhead, who also gives you sparks, and you want to overload to spawn those sparks, so this kind of plays into that.
Yeah. Sure. You know what, though? I am thinking now, Storm Chaser plus like these spells that give you these sparks with rush when you overload, and then Snow Fury Giant getting cheaper when you overload, Spellstone getting buffed when you overload, Discard has overload. You know what I mean? I'm starting to think like that is like maybe the extra support it needed, right? Because they just needed some ways to, like, the whole point of the deck is manage the board, makes 3 unkillable Snow Fury Giants, right? Or 4 of them, I guess, at one point, and then the other opponent or the other guy just dies. So
yeah,
the hard thing was getting to that point. So maybe this helps.
Yeah, man, I just want Overload Shaman to be a thing again. Like, Unbound Elemental is still one of my favorite cards, and it gets no love, and it's still there. You can still play it.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we might be at the point now where there is enough. It just again, it's like, is that more powerful than what other decks are doing? I don't know.
That is the question to ask, yeah. And a lot of times it's a difficult mental exercise to perform, because we're in this meta right now. We're playing against even Shaman and Shutterwalk Shaman over and over again, and it just feels like that's the answer.
Yeah.
So it needs to be a week from today, and we need to start actually seeing how these things perform.
I'm definitely going to mess with these archetypes, though. I mean, this is cool. This is a cool little, like, I like that there's a whole package here.
Yeah. I'm interested, because I just like when new archetypes come out. I'm not looking at something like Omega Mind and being like, yeah, maybe this goes in Shutterwalk Shaman. That doesn't make me. That's not the reason I log in on launch day excited like it's Christmas morning. I want something new, something I haven't seen before. So Totally, man. So let's take another break and thank our second sponsor today, HelloFresh. They are back. You've heard us talk about HelloFresh, right?
I just got a box from them and made 3 delicious meals in 3 days, and it was awesome.
Oh, yeah, man. I was sending you pictures because one of them was like, I think this is the prettiest thing I've ever cooked.
Yeah, the Italian, what was it?
It was orzo with like crumbled
the Italian
sausage.
Orzato or whatever. Oh my god, it was so freaking good too.
HelloFresh is the reason I'm like obsessed with orzo right now. I didn't know orzo was a thing. I always walk past it in the pasta aisle. I'm like, why do they put giant rice with the pasta? Why is that a thing? Turns out no, it's pasta, not rice. And it's amazing. And I've had a couple dishes.
Yeah, when you mix a little Italian sausage with it, and then you get the panko on top, and then the cheese,
and then Parmesan.
Then, like,
you guys are just making me super hungry now.
It was so good though. Like it was crazy, and it was such a like perfect little meal because I ate about half of it right when I sat down, which is probably more than I should have. But then it's like you have this little, it's like a shepherd's pie type thing. You just like leave it in your dish and put foil over, and I just was like cutting slices of it the next day. It was so freaking good, man.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. We actually served ours and tried to make it look nice. So eating it straight out of the skillet sounds wonderful. I'm going to do that next time.
Yeah, it was good.
But yeah, so if this is making you hungry, well, good. HelloFresh has got you covered. Go to HelloFresh.com/TAC30 and enter the code TAC30 when you subscribe, and you will get $30 off your first week of deliveries. If you've never looked into HelloFresh before, there's so many reasons you should give them a try. First off is they've got a great selection. They have the classic, which is, you know, what I do. That's what Dills does. We are carnivores. We enjoy a good mix of meat and vegetables. If that's not your jam.
We're classic men, you know?
We're classic dudes. I like, you know.
Put my fedora on for this.
Mine is not in arm's reach. It's not in arm's reach. But yeah, they've got that. They've got the veggie, if that is your thing. Or if, you know, I don't know. I can't do that. I need meat. But if it's your thing, cool. They also have the family plan, so it gives you quick and easy meals for the whole family. It has made cooking fun to the point where I actually have an honest-to-God conversation with Dills about how, oh my God, this thing was gorgeous. It was actually fun to make, and it was delicious. I love it. There's step-by-step recipes. It's great. There's pictures. You can't screw it up. I know that because I'm terrible at cooking.
Yeah, I oftentimes am winging it when I'm in the kitchen. Yeah. And it's kind of nice to go like, oh, this is exactly what I should be doing. Because most of the time I'm just like, probably this much. Probably this much. And then here it's like all little pre-proportioned out things. By the way, did you see I can't remember which meal it was, but they were like, we gave you extra each time. Like every little thing, they were like, by the way, there is extra. And me, I was just like, well, I'm putting in the extra. Let's go.
Anytime I get that with spicy ingredients, all of the spicy ingredients go in.
Yep. Yeah, it's all going in.
All of it. All of it in. Garlic? You sent me extra garlic? No, you didn't. All this garlic's going in. What are you talking about?
You sent me just enough.
Yep. Yeah. And it's super convenient because it shows up at your doorstep in recyclable, insulated packaging. There's also a lot of one-pot recipes for when you need to, you know, cook relatively quickly. We usually save those for Thursday nights because I'm coming off of Into the Nexus and I don't want to spend too long cooking stuff. It works out great for us, and it has more or less replaced the weekly grocery trip, like the grocery store trip for us. Like it's a subscription method, but you can pause it if you're out traveling. It's just super convenient. So go give them a try. Again, it's $30 off your first week of HelloFresh deliveries by going to HelloFresh.com/TAC30 and using the code TAC30 when you check out. So go on over there, use that link, use that code, let them know we sent you because we thank them for their support, and we thank you all for using that code. Now, let's bring it home. It's time to go into Warlock, into Warrior, and Neutrals, and that'll wrap up this episode. We're going to start with Dr. Morrigan. Dr. Morrigan is the legendary minion for Warlocks. She's an 8-mana 5/5 with a death rattle that reads, swap this with a minion from your deck. So
does that mean when it dies?
Card.
Yeah, you pull out, and then but the 8-mana 5/5 goes back in your deck. So you could recruit the Void Lord and then just keep
doing it over and over again. But for 8 mana, you're playing a 5/5 that does nothing the turn you play it.
That's true.
The moment you play it, it's the 5/5 for 8.
Yeah.
Then it has to die. But then you're recruiting, so it's like you're drawing and playing. I mean, I can definitely see the power level potential here. I just, I have no idea. By the way, I got some Voltaic news. Voltaic was at its peak use in the 1850s. That's probably why we haven't really heard.
Okay, all right. So everyone in the chat room acting smart, like
it's a very rarely used word these days. All right, anyway, Dr. Morgan. Yeah, I don't know.
Thank you. That has been the Voltaic update with Willie Dills Gregory. Dr. Morgan.
We now need to cap that and put it in the news bumper.
Yes.
We take a break.
It's so good.
Your hourly voltaic update.
I've seen a lot of people really likening Morgan to Madame Goya. And if you don't remember Goya, she was the neutral legendary where you got to like choose a minion and swap it with a random one from your deck. And everyone's like, I never saw it play. But like, I think this is like significantly better because Goya, you needed to have a minion on board to have that effect even do anything. Whereas Morgan, you just play Morgan and her Death Rattle can get you value.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we saw Goya and Shaman basically because you make a totem and then you turn the totem into something amazing from your deck, right? Yeah, I guess you just slap this down on turn 8, and then you could even you could kill it with 1 mana gain 4 life thing. I mean, there's definitely stuff you can do, but it's a lot of mana to pay, man. That's a lot of mana to pay. Although there are some ways to get cards out of your hand a little cheaper. Like if this was a demon, this would be kind of crazy because you could.
Oh yeah. Oh god, that would be disgustingly busted, and I'd be so mad.
Bring it back to the Dan. Well, we're going to talk about Boomship, right? We haven't talked about that yet, so that's a way to maybe get it out of your hand with other stuff and then swap it.
When you said demon, Jocelyn looked like she just woke up from a night terror.
I just threw up in my mouth. No big deal.
Yeah, no, that's just like it's 8 mana. What are you really cheating out at this point? I'm not sure what, but this is another one of those cards where I'm looking at. I'm like, this is kind of interesting if the game really slows down.
Oh wait, Boomship is Warrior, isn't it? Oh man,
Boomship is.
For some reason in my head, I was thinking that it was Warlock. We haven't seen the. Have we seen the legendary spell for Warlock yet?
Yeah, it's Solarium, the draw 3 cards, and I don't actually think we've talked about it yet.
No,
it's
that
has nothing to do with it. Never mind.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how you get this out for cheap. Then.
That's our next card. Yeah. I don't know. The only thing I can think of is like if games start really going long, Morgan, maybe there's something there. But is there too?
The archetype for this that doesn't exist right now. So.
Yeah, it just seems like Warlocks already have ways to cheat out minions a lot earlier. It's like I'm looking at this card and be like, yeah, no, Warlock doesn't need any help doing this, and they already do it, and they already do it a lot sooner.
Warlock doesn't need any help doing anything, so this is fine. Bad card for Warlock. Thumbs up.
Right? Yeah. Sure.
Right. So let's talk about the Solarium, the Warlock's legendary spell. This is a 1 mana. It costs just 1 mana to play this card. Solarium draws 3 cards at the end of your turn. Discard them.
Seems like it's super good for like a zoo refill moment.
Yes.
Outside of that, probably not much else because discard never became a thing really. So if you were trying to actually discard the cards on purpose, 1 mana, find 3 cards and then either play them or discard them and still does something for you, that's not really that good. So yeah, it just seems like you can put one of these. Well, you can only ever put one of these, but you just throw it into a zoo deck. Yeah. Sometimes when you're out of cards, you're like, bang.
Yeah, this just seems. Yeah, I'm with you. It just seems like a good zoo card. Because where this gets scary is when you have high-powered cards. Because this, much like Goya to Morgan, a lot of the chat around this card is like, oh, it's like tracking. But it is and it isn't, right? Because.
Well, yeah, because you have the option to play them. Tracking, you never get the option to play the other 2 cards, right?
Yeah, but the downside...
That's true, yeah.
The downside of this...
you could say it's better than tracking because you just get 3 cards and you're like, all right, which one do I want to play? Do I want to play all 3 of them? Do I want to play just one of them?
Well, yeah, that's where I think it's... I don't think that's true. Like, I don't think it's necessarily better or worse than tracking because with tracking lets you plan ahead. The Solarium doesn't unless you have the mana to play that card right then and there. Whereas, tracking, you'd be like, well, I already have a curve, so I'm taking that Savannah High main.
Yeah, you play it on 1 and then you fill out the missing spot in the next few turns type of thing. You can't do that with this for sure.
Yeah.
Well, but you could potentially pair this with like Malchezaar's Imp, right? And then, you're discarding 2 cards at the end of your turn, but then you're drawing 2 cards that you get to keep. Like, there's synergies here that that don't exist with tracking, right?
Yeah, but
that's only wild though, right?
That's wild.
Well, yeah, but...
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking wild, like, this is a card...
Wild exists!
No, it does. Yeah. My brain is just like first standard, and then it's just my own personal hang-ups with the way my brain functions, and usually it doesn't function very well. But Yeah, this is something that makes me want to like play with discarding in Wild specifically because there are so many more like discard tools and synergies to be had there. Whereas we still have quite a few Warlock cards to see, but none of the other Warlock cards that have been revealed have anything to do with this card. So I'm just looking at Solarium, like Bill said, like, hey, Zoo, sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've actually seen the least amount of cards released of Warlock, right? We still have 5 cards from Warlock to see.
Yes.
They're either saving them because they know that they're going to make us mad.
Oh, I guess Hunter too. Hunter, we still have 6 that are unrevealed.
Or they're all trash and they're just like, we don't need to show them to you.
Yeah, don't get excited about these. They'll all be dumped on Facebook at the end.
Yep. Void Analyst.
We can hope.
Void Analyst is our final Warlock card we're going to talk about today. It is a 2-mana 2/2 rare Warlock Demon with a death rattle that reads, give all demons in your hand +1/+1. There are still a decent amount of demons in Standard.
You can play this in even Warlock and buff the few demons that you got there. That's, that's a thing maybe.
Are there enough demons in Zoo to make this viable? There's like
could be. I mean, they play the 4-mana 7/7, right?
Yeah, they do, and they play the dude that does all the whoosh to the opponent's board. The
Despicable Dreadlord.
Yeah, Dreadlord. That's it.
They play Despicable Dreadlord. They play but you can't play Keleseth if you play this. So
that's true, and buffing your whole deck seems just better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is
once Keleseth rotates out, maybe you could play this in Zoo. But I think right now I could see it in even Warlock.
Yeah, but last year didn't we? Last year, correct me if I'm wrong. Weren't we going back and forth between Keleseth Zoo and non-Keleseth Zoo?
There are a few versions where people have still been trying it, but Keleseth Zoo statistically is just outright wins by a huge margin.
But these are rare, so you can have 2 of them, and if you don't have Keleseth, then it's easier to craft these, right? So
you're putting in like Homunculus and stuff like that.
Actually,
so.
Yeah. I mean, not
Direwolf
like
Alpha.
Joking aside, something we don't talk about a lot though. Like, if you're a budget player and you're like, I don't have Keleseth, Void Analyst could more or less slot in to the current Zoo list and do fairly well.
Yeah, I think it should be
possible.
good for budget and free to play type people. Sure.
Yeah, I think that's I hadn't thought about that. I like that. Let's move on to Warrior. The Boom Ship, which Dills mentioned earlier, is a warrior legendary spell. It's going to cost you 9 mana to cast this, and it reads: summon 3 random minions from your hand, give them rush. So doesn't have to be mechs.
It's not recruiting.
It's not recruiting from your deck, yeah. So it is, even though it says random, it's still controllable.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But you do have to draw them and hold them. But then on turn 9, feels kind of nutty, right?
It's possibly nutty, but I don't know.
At least it's rush. If it was charge, then
this charge would be gross. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're never gonna give us a card like that ever.
Yeah.
Ever. But I don't know. It's you basically are like, all right, I have 9 mana, I'm gonna get the board now. Board is mine. And then obviously your opponent will have a chance to respond, but you could, if you got really large minions and you pull them all out and give them rush, and then you clear all their stuff off.
And rush overrides charge, right? So
no,
like if
charge
this
overrides rush.
Oh, does it? Okay, because I'm thinking like if this pulls Grom, then what happens?
you could go face with Grom.
Yeah.
Oh god, that would just be terrible. If rush override. Yeah,
I mean, you could pull Grom, Leroy, and something else, right? Like Reckless Rocketeer. And you'd be like, all right, face. You
Reckless
pull
Rocketeer.
Charge Devil Swords.
There you go.
That would be good. That'd be great. Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting card that I don't instantly know if we're going to be playing it or not. Like, because I'm a lot more excited to play Dr. Boom. And if I play that, I'm probably playing mechs, and they already have rush. I don't know.
Yeah, probably the Dr. Boom deck is better than the Boom Ship deck. And I don't think they're the same deck.
Yeah, I don't think they're the same one either. And hang on, so 2 charged Devilsaurs and a Grom, that's another 18 damage combo. And we've already discussed today how 18 damage is just not enough.
Yeah, well, you can also you can do a lot more if you enrage.
If you can, right? Yeah, Whirlwind, yep.
Right, you play the 0 mana, give him +2.
So 24.
Yeah, and
plus it, yeah.
The other thing, again, it's 9 mana though, and they still need to be in your deck. So even if you're trying to get a really
they need to be in your hand, not your deck.
Oh, hand. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so I guess it makes it slightly better. I don't know. I'm not supremely stoked about.
Technically, you could do 28 total with double enrage. That's
double
not
enrage.
30.
Yeah, that's not. 28 is in fact not 30. You heard it here first, you guys. Oh man,
we're almost hitting 2 hours. I'm winded at this point.
Yeah, I'm getting punchy.
Yeah, a little bit. So Boomship, not sure.
Yeah,
this is where I'm landing on Boomship. Already talked about Beryllium Nullifier. Talked about Boom. We're moving on to Security Rover. Security Rover is a 6 mana 2/5 rare warrior mech. It reads whenever this minion takes damage, summon a 2/3 mech with taunt.
That's annoying as hell.
Yeah, that's super annoying.
It is very annoying. Are we including this in our deck on purpose, or is this just cool because we're going to be finding it sometimes with that hero power off of Dr. Boom?
Yeah, I mean, historically, these kind of cards have not really actually seen a lot of play. So I want to guess that it's probably still going to be like that. Right.
That's where my head's at. Like, I don't think it's unlikely this triggers twice.
But what if?
Well, you can whirlwind it yourself and things like that. But yeah.
What if though you play it on turn 6 and it survives, or maybe you could get this from Stonehill Defender too, right? But imagine it survives, and then the next turn you magnetic it with the nullifier, and then all of a sudden it's got a boatload of health, and it's constantly making these super annoying little 2/3 taunters.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely got situations where it's going to be insane. I do think that in Arena, I'm probably going to pick this card fairly highly, just because if you think about it, at worst in Arena, it's a 6 mana 4/8 most of the time, right?
Oh wait, this itself doesn't have taunt? Oh, I thought it had taunt too. Okay,
no,
yeah, never mind.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's not a terrible Arena card, but yeah, it's for a 6 mana 2/5 that just does nothing the turn you play it. If you're playing on curve, is not very exciting, and that's why, like, in my head, I'm like, I don't think we're putting this in our deck. But that doesn't. I immediately discount it because Dr. Boom, one of the hero powers, you get to discover a mech,
right?
And then your mechs have rush for the rest of the game because you played Dr. Boom, and now suddenly it's a 2/5 with rush that summons a 2/3 when it takes damage. It doesn't even have to survive it; it just has to take the damage.
Yeah. So I mean, even if it gets one-shotted, you're still getting a 2/3 out of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I dig it. And chat room's right. We haven't talked about Omega Assembly yet, but that's the next card. It's a 1 mana rare warrior spell that might find you Security Rover, because Omega Assembly reads Discover a Mech. If you have 10 mana crystals, keep all 3 cards.
This card is awesome.
It is so cool.
I love this card.
So cool. So
yeah, 1 mana Discover a Mech seems like fine, and then if you like, I won't have a problem just playing this, on like turn 1 if I have nothing else to do.
I feel like this is one of the only Omega cards that actually feels pretty good if you just do it before you hit 10 mana. Like the Shaman one is like you get a 2/3.
I'm 100% with you.
Yeah.
This is the first. I missed last week. You guys covered a lot of cards. I did my best to catch up. I could be forgetting something, but this is the first Omega card where I'm like, yeah, this is good no matter when you play it.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. And then if you are on turn 10, you're just like, draw 3 mechs, like refill my hand,
Yep.
So.
And if you're playing Mech Warrior, which I kind of want to now, yeah, this is a great card. I love Omega Assembly. This is, This is the first card I think for me since Druid where I'm like, yep, great card. Moving on.
Yep.
Moving on to our final warrior card for today, Eternium Rover is the 1 mana 1/3 common warrior mech that reads whenever this minion takes damage, gain 2 armor.
So Armor Smith's little mech buddy.
Yep.
If we're doing Mech
cute.
Warrior, you need some. He is pretty adorable. Look at him looking at whatever the hell he's picking up.
Mech bits.
They made a lot of cute mechs in this set, or a lot
They
of
did.
just cute stuff in general.
Yeah,
I think this card is decent.
you want low cost mechs if you're running a mech deck, and this is a low cost mech that has really solid stats for 1 mana.
Yeah, 1/3 for 1. Historically, really good.
Sure.
Yeah,
At least, and thank God it doesn't like grow. Like the fact that it gives you.
Oh, yeah.
Like no more mana worms ever again. No more tunnel trogs ever again, please. In fact, I would like to see mana worm Hall of Fame at some point. But I think this card is exactly how they should design 1-drops. It's great.
Yep, it's good, and it can be better thanks to magnetic. You know, you can make it grow, but it's not inherently built into its card text. You need to use another card to do
We
that.
It does a
haven't
thing.
seen-
It has an effect, but it's passive, basically. It's or not passive. Defensive is a better term.
Yeah,
We haven't seen a lot of cheap magnetics, have we?
Not yet, but
Yeah,
we still
I'm
have
assuming we
3
will
more.
eventually.
I think we're going to get at least 2 more out of the 3 still to be revealed warrior cards because they were supposed to be one of the magnetic classes, right? Like one of the mech heavy classes. So I think we still are going to see 2, if not all 3 magnetic effects from the
Okay.
cards that are still to come.
I like it. I like it a lot. Shall we move to neutrals and wrap it up?
Yes.
All right, cool. Mecha'thun. It's Mecha'thun time.
It's Mecha'thun time.
It is Mecha'thun time. Mecha'thun is a 10 mana 10/10 legendary mech or neutral mech minion. So many words to say. With a death rattle that reads: if you have no cards in your deck, hand, and battlefield, destroy the enemy hero.
So once you completely run out of all possible resources,
Yes.
then you win.
If
Which is an
Mecha'thun,
odd kind of play style to wrap your head around.
yeah. So if Mecha'thun dies without having been silenced, and you have nothing else left at all in the game entirely, you win the game.
Yeah. Which I've got to say, I like the other Cthulhu design better. I liked the idea of something that was like growing in this big bomby thing. Like, I don't know about this kind of card design. It just feels like blah to me.
I think this is pretty wild. Like, this is the type of stuff I'd like to see in Hearthstone, even if I don't think it is competitively viable. But
I mean it. Okay, so it is a Spiteful Summoner card.
Yes.
10 cost card. You'll get just a 10/10 with your Spiteful Summoner. That's good, right?
yep.
People are trying to come up with weird Keening Banshee combos to do this. The problem is that if you
I literally have to look that up because I don't even remember what that does.
when you play a card, you discard 3 of your cards, right?
Oh, okay.
Like remember the Fell Reaver where the opponent would play something and you discard. The Keening
Right.
Banshee is the 4 mana 5/5. It's mostly an arena card. Nobody really plays it in standard.
I had totally forgotten that this card was ever
There was a
made.
card that existed.
Yeah.
So, you know, the issue is like people are talking about all this stuff where they're like, oh, you do all this and then you do it in Druid and you Keening Banshee and blah, blah, blah. And then you Deathwing. And you're like, well, when you Deathwing is on the board.
Yeah, so therefore
That doesn't work.
yeah.
The only way I can see this doing anything is if you can play it, if you can get it on the board as a Warlock and then Cataclysm with an empty deck.
You
Right.
could
Or Twisting Nether, right? That would still if your
Well, no,
last
Twisting
card.
Nether doesn't get rid of your hand though. Like,
Well, no, but it
Cataclysm
would have
discards
to
your
be.
whole
You'd
hand.
have to. Oh yeah, that's true. Because I was gonna say you'd have to like Twisting Nether would have to be your last card. So you'd have to play Cthulhu, it'd have to survive, and then
Yeah.
you'd have to Twisting Nether as your final card. I don't know.
Sure.
Seems
we're
crazy.
Yeah, where it makes sense to me is I think Druid. Like if the game went to every card in your deck, it's pretty easy for Druid to play Mecha'thun and kill it in the same turn if you're holding Innervate and Naturalize.
True, but those will have to be the exact last 2 cards in your hand.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
You'll have to have played all 27 other cards, and your last 3 cards in your hand are Mecha'thun, Innervate, Naturalize, and your deck is completely empty.
yes.
Getting to that point in the game does not seem better than just trying to
just
win.
having straight up win condition before this.
No,
Well,
I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, of all the things I've seen thrown around, just being like, hey, Druid makes a bunch of armor and survives games anyway, you know, like, that seems realistic to me, because it's not hard to end with X cards in your hand. You have complete control over that if you already need to have nothing in your deck, nothing on, you know, nothing else in your hand.
No, it's hard to not be dead at that point.
Right, that's true. But
you know, your opponent's doing stuff. Honestly, I feel like Warlock is more likely than anything because of Cataclysm. Right now, obviously, you have to play Mecha'thun on a previous turn and then Cataclysm, but you know, that just seems more likely to me. And plus, you have life tap, so you can tap away. You know, draw all your cards.
Yeah, I don't know. I take
a decent amount of healing.
Leaving Mecha'thun up for a turn, I take as much issue with as you are with, like, just assuming your game goes to all 30 cards. Because if it does take off, if it becomes an archetype, everyone just saves their answer for Mecha'thun, and the deck never works again.
Yeah, it's very true. So I don't know. It's just like that's why I think this card is just not. It's gonna be total meme card. No one's gonna make it work.
I think so too.
Yeah. It is worse than Togwaggle. And Togwaggle actually found a way to make it into a deck.
I think I give it like an A+ for cool factor. I like that this card was made. It's Hearthstone as hell, but I don't think it's gonna see competitive play.
It's mostly there for Spiteful Summoner stuff and just being fun.
Yep.
I like the idea that they're playing around with the destroy the enemy hero mechanic, because I really liked that design in Uther. I was kind of sad that didn't see more play, because I thought that was a really interesting and cool design. But this, I don't know, with all of it wrapped up in one card, like Uther was interesting because you could make it happen because you were like constantly generating those 2/2s, right? So there was always a chance that eventually you'd just get there. But it's like, if this gets silenced, or I don't know, I don't like this as much as the design of Uther, but I like that they're playing with the destroy the enemy hero mechanic. I think that's really cool. I just don't like this card.
Fair. Well, do you like the next legendary we're going to talk about? Subject 9. It's a 5-mana 4/4 neutral legendary beast with a battle cry that reads, draw 5 different secrets from your deck.
This one's kind of interesting and has adorable art that I love.
Ooh, man, you have a different definition of adorable than I do.
Maybe like I love this art. I think it's really, really cool. Like maybe it's not like cute, like
raptor, right?
Yeah, it's like half mech, half not. He's just like, I'm made up of all different parts.
I look at that
which
and
makes sense.
I'm pretty sure he's saying kill me, but sure.
He lives a tortured existence. I mean, 5 mana 4/4 draw 5 cards. It seems pretty sweet.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't it? Like, yeah, it's secrets, but
but
it's like you get one copy of each secret in your deck, basically, if you play 5 or less secrets.
Exactly. If you're hunter with spellstone stuff, you know, that seems decent. If you're mage with ways to make your secrets cost 0 and stuff, sure. I think Paladin doesn't ever do it. I think Rogue probably doesn't ever do it, but you know,
I forgot Rogue had secrets. Man.
Yeah, they barely do.
I think it was. Cause, again, I'm going to reference competitive Hearthstone. I think I saw the joke on there where it was like you play this in Rogue and then you win because your opponent doesn't remember what Rogue secrets do.
Sure. It just seems like potentially Mage and Hunter are going to play around with this, right? Mm-hmm. Specifically secret archetypes of those.
Yeah, I think this is really good for Hunter because of the Spellstone specifically. Plus, it's a beast too, right? So
sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes you'll be able to find this just with Rexar too, right? Because 5 mana or less.
Oh yeah, 5 mana, true.
Oh, that's right. That is right.
But most of the time, by the time you're playing Rexar and making beasts and stuff, you've probably already done a lot of your secret drawing.
You might be pretty deep into the game unless you play Rexar exactly on 6. But
yeah.
I like this card a lot. As long as I keep making secrets, Subject 9 will be an interesting card.
I also find it interesting that they've made a card like this that is neutral, but only interacts, like has a battle cry that only interacts in certain classes, right? Like, so it only, the battle cry will only work if you're Hunter, Mage, paladin or rogue. So there's like 5 classes that this is just a vanilla 4/4.
I mean, outside of really bananas things like just like priests that finding cards outside of their class and shuffling them back into their deck kind of thing. Like, yes, that's.
But yeah, I find it this type of card design I find very, very interesting.
Yeah, I like it too. Next is Star Aligner. This is a 7-mana 7/7 neutral rare minion with a battle cry that reads. Epic minion, not rare. The battle cry is, if you control 3 minions with 7 health, deal 7 damage to all enemies. Yo, dog, I heard you like 7.
Yep.
How?
Is it specific? It's specifically 7 health, right? Not 7 or more. So yeah.
It
you could maybe make it work, but
I mean, this would then be the third one, so you have to have 2 other ones.
Yeah. Oh, is that the way that it works?
Yeah, that's the way that.
So it hits the board and the battle cry happens.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because that's the way whatchamacallit worked. It was the 4th mech or whatever.
Voltron or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This just seems too damn hard to do.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Moving on.
It's just so weird. What the hell is going on here?
Yep.
Seaphorium Bomber, 5-mana 5/5, epic neutral minion, battle cry. Shuffle a bomb into your opponent's deck. When drawn, it explodes for 5 damage. We had a warrior legendary that did something similar, and we never played it. Cool.
Was that Iron Juggernaut?
Yeah.
Yeah, Iron Juggernaut. Yeah.
It is neutral though, so maybe there's some sort of mill decks that could throw this in.
We don't have Cold Light anymore, so
yeah.
Well,
Wild does.
Sure, Wild does. Yeah. So I mean, if you want to play a Wild thing with now, I mean, before, it was the other one a warrior card?
Yeah, it was specifically warrior,
and it was but didn't that one also deal 10 damage?
It did. It was 10. Yeah.
So this is only 5. Yeah, that's not strong enough, man. I guess you can play 2 of these though, because the other one was also a legendary too, right? So,
yeah, it was. I feel like it was it like a 7/7? I feel like 7/7 that shuffled the 10 damage bomb.
I can't remember, man. That's
so
long ago.
It was I think GVG when we got.
Yes,
that
it was
one,
GVG.
So.
It was a 6-mana 6/5, and it shuffles a 10 damage bomb into your opponent's deck.
Yeah.
By the way, Cheesy Bob, you're blowing my mind in the chat room. So Seaphorium is a thing that's in World of Warcraft like all over the place and has been since vanilla. I never got that it was a pun on C4. Never struck my mind. I've been playing WoW since vanilla. And that's the most interesting thing that came of this card for me. All right. EMP Operative, is that where we're going?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. 5-mana 3/3 epic neutral minion with a battle cry that reads destroy a mech.
So big game hunter?
not destroy a mech and gain a buff. Just destroy a mech.
Yeah. And leave a body behind. So it's going to depend on how many people are playing mechs, right?
Yeah. And, it's like, either there are a lot of mechs, like this is going to be a card that's going to only be good against the mech decks, and there's probably going to be non-mech decks. And then, so again, it's like falls into the Hemet Nessingwary trap where it's like, okay, when it hits, it's great. But sometimes I just have a 5-mana 3/3 against you.
Yeah.
And do I want to gimp my deck against anything that's not mech? Probably not.
Yeah. And mech
Well,
decks,
again, it's just going to depend on how big a slice of the meta that is, right? Like,
that's what it was.
If 3/4 of people are playing mechs, then you're probably going to want one of these. If it's like just say warrior boom decks that have mechs in them, you probably don't want to take up a slot.
But even if it is like that, like the reason why Galactic Crawler got played wasn't just because there was a ton of pirates. It was because it was a 2-mana 2/3. It was fine on its own, right? And like even when there's like tons of Murlocs, like you still didn't see the crab. Like this doesn't grow, so it doesn't just do that huge swing thing.
Yeah,
thankfully.
Even if 3/4 of the meta is mechs, which I highly doubt it will be, I still don't get myself in the other 1/4 of my games to play a 5-mana 3/3 in those games. I probably just try to do whatever my game plan is, and not just be reactive to your game plan, right? That's how I look at it anyway.
Yeah, my thought with this is, well, cool. It doesn't get buffed like crabs in the past, which we all kind of got annoyed with.
No,
but
Blizzard, thank you.
This
Please.
goes. I think this goes too far in the other direction. Like this is just a bad card, in my opinion.
Yeah,
this is just
yeah.
bad. The crabs were annoying because they had good stats for the mana cost, and they got buffed if they destroyed.
And it was just too big of a swing. This is like, okay, make these cards have this downside, right? Of being bad.
Yeah,
It's just that this is too big of a downside. So if it was like 4 mana, that would be different.
4 mana 3/3, sure. I mean, because at least then it's like sometimes it's a 4 mana 3/3, but man, 5 mana 3/3, like in those games, it's going to literally be a dead card, and you might just lose all the times when you're not playing against the mech.
Yeah, I think this is either 1 mana too high or like 1 attack, 1 health too low.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of.
I just think it's not good.
Where my head's at, but I would still rather have this than the damn crabs.
Yes. Please, thank you. Don't give me any more of those.
Yep. Augmented Elec is next. This is a 3 mana 3/4 neutral epic beast that reads: whenever you shuffle a card into a deck, shuffle in an extra copy. You could do some weird stuff with this.
Yeah, you can definitely do some cool stuff. Like I could see.
Weasel Tunnelers.
Yeah, there you go. Weasel Tunneler, hell yeah.
Done.
It's a beast itself. It's a 3 mana 3/4, so it's fine.
Yeah.
You can play it alongside. You can play it in Jade Druid. You can play it in.
You could play it with Dire Frenzy and Hunter.
No,
play with Dire Frenzy and Hunter.
Thank you, Josh. I was like the Hunter thing from last expansion. What's it called? Yes, that. That's exciting because it goes in
you
buff.
You can play it with Quest Hunter.
Ooh. Ooh, you've piqued my interest, sir.
Double up the 15 Raptors, get 30 Raptors that draw cards, right? Wow.
Yeah. This is a cool card.
Crazy.
It's 1 extra copy, right? It's not double.
Yeah, but it's whenever you shuffle a card. So you're shuffling 15 cards.
So you shuffle a first card and then a copy and then a second card. Okay.
I don't shuffle 15 cards and that counts as 1 card. That counts as 15 cards. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what you do with this, but I feel like there's going to be something to do with this.
You meme hard with this.
Yes.
That's what you do.
I like this card. I like this card a lot. Missile Launcher is next. It's a 6 mana 4/4 neutral rare mech with magnetic, and it reads: at the end of your turn, deal 1 damage to all other characters. Which means it hits heroes as well, including yourself.
So that's your own board too?
Uh-huh. Your own board, your own face.
Huh. I mean, whirlwinding effects could be pretty strong.
If this was red and had the warrior border art, it would not surprise me.
Yeah, it's worse than Despicable Dreadlord, which is 5 mana 4/5. It only does it to your opponents. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's always going to be some possibilities with this. But mostly I'm going to look at this and think of Arena.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't know. I think there might be something with Warrior, with Missile Launcher. If they're going down the mech route already, gain armor off that little 1/3 we talked about. Are there going to be more, mechs when they take damage effects? Because there's still a few Warrior cards to be shown.
Yeah, or mechs with if there's mechs with poisonous abilities, mechs with look, there are people in the chat are talking about it. Mechs with Snow Chugger, that's interesting. Freeze the whole board.
This is get me in wild now, please. Thank you. That's cool.
That's crazy.
Okay. Up next is Mechanical Whelp, 6 mana 2/2 neutral rare mech. It has a death rattle that reads: summon a 7/7 mechanical dragon.
This is more card design that I really like, except for they left out the whole, if it dies on your opponent's turn or whatever. The skeleton guy from Frozen Throne.
Yeah. Skelemancer.
I really like that one, and I wish that this had done the same thing.
It never... that never really got off the ground.
Mm-hmm. Which is why, I'd kind of like to see more of that kind of card design, and this is just missing that little piece.
But this... I could see maybe getting off the ground because it's just like a giant egg, right?
Yeah, actually,
maybe you could do this stuff with Hunter's things.
Yeah, with magnetic, and it's not
the fact that it's a mech means you
play,
can magnetize things.
Play dead,
it.
and
yeah. It's just that it's a lot of mana up front to not do anything.
It is, but if you, I mean, it's so I've been playing that Death Rattle Hunter a little bit, and
It's
basically
so
you
much
play the
fun.
egg for 3, and then the other guy just like kills the egg, then kills the 5/5 because they know that you're gonna do stuff to it. Right?
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. And yeah, play
So
that is
it
only 1 mana.
forces
So.
a response, like for 6 mana, obviously. But I don't know. The Death Rattle is better than Savannah Highmane's. Just the initial body sucks.
Yeah.
If I play this and then my opponent decides to leave it alone, I Terrascale Stalker and play dead it and cube it, or you know what I mean? It's like you're gonna have to deal with it.
Fair. Okay. All right.
So,
You're
And we
potential
haven't.
there.
There's a lot of hunter cards we haven't seen yet, so they could have more cool magnetic stuff that you can do to this for low cost. Like they might have 1, 2, or 3 mana stuff you could combo with this that might work really well.
Yeah.
I would say like in addition to all the stuff they can already do in the cool Death Rattle decks right now.
Yeah.
Yep. Dear God, there's still cards. Arcane Dynamo is next. A 6 mana 3/4 neutral rare minion. No tribe this time, not a mech. It has a battle cry that reads discover a spell that costs 5 or more. So there's quite a lot of spells still, but it depends on the class. Like if you're looking at something like Shaman, there's a wonderful little list that someone put over on competitive Hearthstone, which I forgot to link in the show notes. Sorry, everybody. There it is, chat room. If you look at something like Shaman, there's only 4 spells. Warlock, there's only 4 spells that we know of right now. There's still cards to be revealed, so there could be more, but there couldn't be that many more. Hunter, there's only 4 spells. Crushing Walls, To My Side, Emerald Spellstone, and Explosive Shot.
Yeah. Druid, Discovering Ultimate Infestation. That's another one of them. I don't know. It's a 6 mana 3/4 though. Sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's real bad. I just don't know why you would go out of your way for this.
Yeah, I doubt. Like, I think again, like this is a card sometimes you'll pick in arena because it'll be the best of the pack. But I don't think you put it in your standard deck.
I don't think so either.
Could this be another sort of budget card potentially? Like you open this in a pack, it's a rare, and you can put it into any class, and that will help give you access to cards maybe you don't have.
Yes, and
that could happen.
And it's a very interesting arena card.
Yeah.
It gives you access to stuff you did not draft. Or maybe you did. You get an extra copy. But,
Sure.
But it's it's interesting in there. I just don't see why you would put this in a deck if you're not, playing on a budget.
It's not a card that's above the power level of standard, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Replicating Menace is next. It's a 4 mana 3/1 rare neutral mech with magnetic. It also, in that magnetic, is a death rattle. That death rattle is summon 3/1/1 microbots. Have they shown these?
And I'm guessing the microbots are just 1/1 mechs.
I don't
They don't do
believe.
anything?
Oh, they do. They do have a picture. Yep, they're 1/1 mechs. Oh, they're adorable.
So it is a way to potentially magnetic to something, and you're getting like 3 extra attack instantly, right? So that can be useful. And then of course summoning 3 microbots.
Is this our lowest cost magnetic so far?
Might be. It might be. Let me see. I've got all the cards up over here.
Because whether it is or not, thinking about it in that regards, I like this card. Because magnetic
Currently, I
seems...
believe it is the lowest cost magnetic. So yeah, like if you just think of it as like, this is a way to get a trade that I maybe couldn't before. Sure.
4
but again,
mana though. 4 mana
4 mana is a lot. But 4 mana,
Yeah.
you also get the 3/1/1. So again, I think if you already have a bunch of mechs in your arena deck, maybe you pick this.
It's not extremely exciting by itself, but it is very exciting as magnetic. I mean, I would want to play a buff that was give a minion, +3/+1 and death rattle summon 3/1/1 minions.
Yeah, it's not terrible. I think for the 4 mana, like that's a decent amount of value.
Yeah, and if you have to play it by itself, well, at least you have the option.
Yeah, it's 6/4 with the stats for 4 spread out over 4
Yeah.
bodies and spread out over death rattle. I think it's okay. It's closer in power level than a lot of these other neutrals. That's for sure.
And what are they going to do? Silence it or spend like a polymorph on it? I don't think so. And if they do, cool.
Sure. Yeah. But I'm probably going to be using it just to trade up anyway, and I'm going to instantly get those 3/1/1s most of the time. I'm thinking.
I think so too. I'm thinking about Warrior. We just saw like a 1-mana mech that's very playable for Warrior. So if they can curve out with mechs, it's not unrealistic to think that you can magnetic this onto something.
Oh yeah, and you'll
curve.
discover this sometimes too, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It'll show up.
It's interesting. I like this card. I like this card more than I thought originally. Once we got to the end here and started to think about it a little more, I kind of passed over it when I was prepping for the show. Galvanizer is next, and this is technically our last card. We already kind of talked about Goblin Bomb, which would be after this, but Galvanizer is a 2-mana, 1/2 neutral rare mech, and it has a battle cry that reads, reduce the cost of mechs in your hand by 1.
Cards that say reduce the cost generally end up seeing play at some point.
Yes, especially if it's tribe specific and that tribe is seeing play.
Yeah. So I get the feeling that this will be in some decks.
Yep. What was the discount mech everyone ran back in the day in GVG?
Mech Warper?
Mech Warper. I'm having Mech Warper flashbacks.
Yeah, I mean, so Mech Warper would have to be on the board, but
it was just
like at Mech Warper, and it was a 2-mana 2/3, so it was like just finally statted. This is a 2-mana 1/2, but you can get a bunch of value instantly, and it doesn't matter if they kill it or not, right? So once you get the battle cry off, the battle cry is off. It's happened.
Yeah. This is.
And you'll be flooding soon.
Way less terrifying though. I don't know. I don't like because Mech Warper. If you got it out later, you could just keep playing things. But I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess this if it's in your hand, it's kind of irrelevant. So this is a good card.
Yeah. If you're playing a heavy mech deck, you're probably playing a Galvanizer because making stuff cheap is good in Hearthstone. It just is.
Jocelyn, where does this fall on the cute scale?
This is definitely in contention. He's adorable and looks like he just is loving life. Strolling down the street like
all electrified and stuff.
Yeah, he's one happy camper. So, yeah, he's up there. I have to see the whole set before I officially choose one, but he's definitely in the running.
He's a good boy for sure. Yeah. He's going to like his first like Boy Scouts meeting.
He looks like he even has little buck teeth or something. Oh god, he's pretty cute.
I think there's even little freckles in there. There's like 3 little dots under his. Oh, look at him! He's just adorable. I'd pinch his cheek if he had skin. All right, we already talked about Goblin Bomb, but just to remind you, it's a card you can also collect and put in your deck. The 1-mana 0/2 common neutral mech that has a death rattle, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero. We talked about this when we talked about the Hunter legendary minion earlier today. Nothing more to say on that because we already kind of talked about it.
Yeah, I doubt it sees play outside of just being made by that Hunter
being
legendary.
the Hunter card, yeah.
Yep, I do very much, however, love bombs that are shaped like the heads of the people throwing them. Go green. Go. I guess got Green Goblin to use pumpkins, but whatever. This is great. Good art. Good all around. We did it. We did it.
We made it.
We made it. Thank you, everyone, for going through that, and I apologize for having issues talking sometimes. That's going to bring us to the end of the show. Thank you again to our patrons. Thank you so much for supporting The Angry Chicken. If you like helping us power through this, supporting us over at patreon.com/TAC is the best place to support the show, to support the 3 of us, and we very much appreciate all of the support that's happening over there. Go check it out. Whether it's $1 a show, $10 a show, whatever works for you, every bit helps. Thank you. Also, if you dig the show, drop us a 5-star review on iTunes. We very much appreciate those. Huge thanks to our
show.
Yep. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Declan H, Sean C, Johnny S, and LVE. Thank you very, very much. Check out our swag. We have coffee mugs, pint glasses, stuff like that, all custom etched with the Angry Chicken logo, which you can find over at etched.amove.tv. We also have t-shirts for sale. So if you want to get jobs done emblazoned across your chest in shirt form, go to shirts.amove.tv. But before we end, Dills, where can everybody find you?
Check me out on Twitter. I'm at Willie Dills, twitch.tv/Willie Dills. Should be streaming the entire rest of this week, and I will be at the event in Austin on Sunday, August 5th, from 12 to 4 is when the event is. So if you are in Austin or anywhere nearby, swing on by Vigilante Bar and hang out with me. Let's do it.
Sweet. Jocelyn, how about yourself?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch. I'm at Joss Plays, and if you guys saw, there was a new Warcraft cinematic today. So if you have any interest in World of Warcraft at all, I've been telling chat room no WoW talk through this whole entire show. But if you do want to hear some WoW talk, go and check out Faz Podcast. That's for Azeroth, but we are Faz Podcast in all the places.
Cool. I'm Garrett Art on Twitter. All of the podcasts I do can be found at amove.tv. We're finally going to record a new Let's Talk About Star Wars tonight. And if you want to hear me talk about WoW, I've been talking about it on my solo show, R2T2. I've been talking about it on Weak Sauce with Kyle Ferguson. And I will finally be going back to the Instance, I guess, because I haven't been on in a while. But there's a lot of places that hear me ramble. I need to rant with you, Jocelyn. I need to rant with you because I share a lot of the same concerns right now.
I am really, really glad that we don't record until Fridays because I don't think I could actually talk about WoW right now.
Yeah, I need to collect myself.
Yep, I need to calm.
If I did it right now, wouldn't be pretty. But whatever the case is, yeah, check out all that stuff. Thank you all for listening. As always, glad to be back. And until next Monday, not Tuesday, we're recording Monday next week. Don't forget, and Taco is this Saturday. Sign up bit.ly/Witchwood Taco. Job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Yes!
I'm exhausted.
Right. Yeah, I'm taking this dog out. I will see y'all Monday.
Sounds
Peace.
good. I'm going to go cook some chicken.
See you guys.
Bye, chat room. Thanks for hanging out with us.